I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Ooh, little chilly. My body's hurting. I'm achy all over. But I do have something important coming up tomorrow morning, which is my MRI that I've been waiting for my left knee. And I already know it's not going to be good. I just know it. My therapist knows. I know. We just got to figure out when the surgery is going to be, and I may need to take some time off the show just because I will not be able to be sitting down here to do the show because of my knee, because I will have to keep my knee elevated above my heart, and I got to be laying down, and maybe I'll do a show or two laying down. I probably won't be on the screen, but you could probably hear me. Yeah, I'll maybe put a dummy here, and then be like, "Oh shit, look, it's Rick the dummy." Yep, Rick the dummy. But it has me concerned because I know it's gonna happen. I just feel it. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Yeah, and I know. And I know it's not going to be good, and I know I need to get this repaired to be able to move forward and what I want to do with my life, and even with the show. I need to have this knee repaired. So I'll fill you in details once I get the results. I do have an appointment to see my primary actually on Tuesday of next week. So I won't get the full, I'll get results, but I won't get the results from my doctor until Tuesday of next week. So that's a very important day for me. Like I said, I already know my knee's been acting crazy, especially when I'm sleeping. Oh my God, the pain that it just shoots in my knee. It's just, I try to subtract. I'm not trying to add more pain to myself. I gotta actually roll up some medicine because I didn't roll anything. I was gonna roll something before the show, but I was doing other things and I couldn't get this done proper. But I'm gonna try to do this show within 2 hours because I do got to get off here early to get to bed early because my MRI, I have to be at the facility at 7 a.m. and my MRI is not until 7:30, but they have to prep me. So basically, just take off your clothes, and during the procedure, they're gonna put the needle in me, and that's where you get the hot ass with the contrast. I call it the hot ass. Like if anybody has ever had an MRI, you know what I'm talking about when I say the hot ass. Because the medicine that they put in you, it makes your, I don't know, it makes your blood boil or something, but I know it makes my ass on fire. And as anybody and everyone who does that, you get hot ass. So if you ever had gotten hot ass, let me know in the comments. But without further ado, let's go ahead and move this show forward and let's watch some news. Here we go. All right, who are we gonna bring up first? Let's go here. Let's go with Benny Johnson.
If you don't let me beat the girls in sports, then I'm gonna hurt some people.
What the hell?
What's up, guys? It's Benny. How refreshing to have our health authorities in America be able to make statements like this.
Men are men. Men can never become women. Women are women. Women can never become men.
I don't care what you do in this life. I don't care what you think in this life. I don't care what your feelings are. 1,000 years from now, when the AI scientists and robots are digging through all of our remains, they'll be able to pluck out one of your bones from the earth and do a quick test for the chromosomes in those bones and be able to find X, Y, or XX. And they'll be able to tell if you are male or female.
Nope.
And that's the end of it.
They'll know by
It doesn't matter how
your
much makeup,
pelvis.
silicone, or how many feelings you have. That's just the way God made it. And you can't fight God. You'll lose that battle every single time.
Yeah, that you'll lose.
Some people do fight God. And we've lived through the single most aggressive and disturbing psychological operation over the last couple of years, approximately 2020 to 2024.
With the Biden administration.
Where Joe Biden was doing, alphabet and transgender festivities, inside the White House. Bill Mulvaney interviewed Joe Biden, Bill Mulvaney on a Bud Light can. I mean, it was like this ceaseless, mind-bending propaganda super cycle that truly did break people. And we're seeing the early returns for this ideology, and it has been horrifying. Single most violent group by number in the entire world is the transgender population. We're going to explain why here in just a second, but let's read the new, violent, and deadly transgender news cycle here. Woman murdered by transgender ex alongside child. Divorcing him because of his narcissistic personality disorder traits. Well, that's on brand. A woman of 3 was murdered alongside of her child after her transgender ex-husband opened fire at a high school hockey game in Rhode Island. At a hockey
What a horrible thing, man.
at a school.
The fucking killed a child.
Rhonda Dorgan is her name. She was shot dead by her ex-husband, Robert Dorgan, who went by the name Roberta Esposito.
What's up, Albie? What's up, Jerry?
Son's hockey game, the Lynch Arena,
What's up, Kevin?
a few miles outside of Providence. Rhonda died inside of the skating rink, and her son was
Kevin
passed.
likes to stop by and say, "Good evening from Lakeland,
2
Florida."
family members, family friends were injured in the shooting.
I like
So
Lakeland,
he was
Florida.
aiming
I've
for a
been there
lot of
few
people.
times.
Dorgan concluded the rampage by killing himself. Oh, so awful. His daughter told local news that he had a mental health issue and was very sick. The motive remains unclear. Well, you can imagine exactly what's going on. It stemmed from a targeted family dispute. Rhonda served Dorgan divorce papers in 2020, according to their case file. She initially cited Dorgan's gender reassignment surgery, narcissistic personality disorder traits, grounds for the divorce. The reason they crossed the line were placed with irreconcilable differences that caused an immediate breakdown in the marriage, and the divorce was finalized. So this is the, what looks like a beautiful family here.
Ew.
This is
Woof. Woof.
Sir,
Oh,
this is
fuck
her
was
husband
that?
after it's divorced. God, who killed the ex-wife. Look at this.
Yeah, the
These
pelvic
kids
bones
traumatized
are completely
forever.
different. Yeah,
Traumatized
yeah,
for
that's what I
life.
said. That's what I mentioned.
Dorgan sparred with multiple family members over his identity, gender identity crisis. Court documents showed.
Yeah.
Told police in
Did
2020
they ever
that he
put
had
the
recently undergone gender reassignment
contrast in
surgery.
you? I know you had the
and said his
contrast.
father-in-law wanted to kick him out of the home. Dorgan claimed that the officers in North Providence Police
Danbury
Department of his
in
father-in-law
March.
threatened to have him murdered
What's up?
by an Asian street gang. Okay.
I want to go to the Danbury Mall.
And he once told
I've been
police
there
that he
forever.
had been living at the home for 7 years, claimed his father-in-law told him, there's no way this tranny is going to stay in my house, according to the documents. The father-in-law was charged with intimidation of witnesses and victims' crimes and obstruction of the judicial system. Prosecutors dismissed the charges. Now, what a mess. What a mess. Police confirmed the suspect was a transgender man. Robert goes by the name Roberta. How long? How long are we going to mask this stuff? There are sick people. There have always been sick people. You don't help out alcoholics by handing them
A beer.
the liquor cabinet keys.
Yeah.
You don't help out like habitual drunk drivers by giving them the keys to your car. You don't help out child abusers by putting them on Epstein Island. Okay, flying them on the Lolita Express. So why do we do this? That there was a time when we had mental health institutions in this country that would help people that were suffering, and I'm in favor of that. I think that's quite frankly the merciful thing to do. The unmerciful thing to do is to lie to people and use state and federal funds in order to facilitate delusions. This is the dude who shot his family at the hockey rink. Being trans is a huge signifier of unbridled, violent rage. And, well, you can see here on the list, here's just a massive list, added to the list. And they often target Christian churches. Why? Because in the first book of the Bible, it says God maketh them man and woman. Annunciation Catholic Church, Nashville Christian shooter, Lakewood Christian shooter, Colorado Springs, Denver shooter, Charlie Kirk's assassin, and so on and so on. Daughter of the shooter said her father had mental health issues and was very, very sick.
She described that shooting suspect as her father. She came out of the police department behind me here in tears after presumably being interviewed by police.
My father was a shooter.
What happened?
Shot my family. And he's dead now.
What was the reasoning? Was there a family argument?
He has mental health issues.
So
Mental
yes,
health.
He has mental health issues.
Always mental health.
We're now getting trans mass shootings multiple times a month per capita. These are the most dangerous people on the planet, says Matthew Walsh.
Trans
There is no
people
question
should not
about
be
it.
owning
Unstable,
guns.
delusional,
Sorry.
liable to lash out at
It's
any
gonna
time.
come down
Trans
to that.
ideology must be treated as
They
the
shouldn't
threat
be
that it
handling
clearly
guns.
is. Goodness gracious.
Especially if they're heavily medicated.
Violent danger to society.
Woof.
Goodness gracious.
Woof. Ew. Woof.
Ooh, man. 1 week after transgender man killed 8 kids at a school, transgender father kills his child and wife. It's the one from Canada.
Okay. I have sleep apnea too.
Undercovered for sure. Everything I've said about transgenderism in the past 10 years, says Matt Walsh, is absolutely correct, totally vindicated. And now I'm telling you that the trans violence we've seen so far is compared to this
CPAP machine.
coming. The trans violence we've seen so far is nothing compared to what's coming. We don't treat this ideology as a severe public safety hazard and crack down on it immediately and aggressively and stop facilitating it. There you go. Trans violence is an epidemic.
It is. These trans people, man. I think the medication really fuck with their heads. You know that.
The shooter was born in 1969 and went by 2 different names. Left-wing media refuses to inform its readers of the basics when it comes to transgenderism. If this isn't journalism, it's anti-journalism, it's orthodoxy. I said this 3 years ago, trans violence will only get worse, and now I say it again, it will only get worse. Let's treat it like the epidemic it is. Trans ideology is a national security threat.
Really,
the list goes on.
Psychologically test
The list goes on.
these transsexuals before having a gun.
Threatened to go berserk in a trans rant the day before the shooting. Goodness gracious. Let's go ahead and look. The night before the bloodshed, the 56-year-old dad underwent gender reassignment surgery, made an ominous post on X in anger at somebody calling trans Democrat Rep. Sarah McBride a man. Here is the post. Keep bashing us, but do not wonder why we go berserk. Goodness gracious.
Go berserk.
So stating basic
But then you had to go and kill your ex-wife and your child.
All time is enough.
Fucking crazy, man.
To end your life now.
What
it's
a
terrible.
fucking loser.
Can't live like this. Can't live like this. And many people don't live like this. Many people aren't alive
clown show,
because
man.
of this. So we've had enough. We've had enough. It's time to call it out what it is. And that's actually the merciful thing to both the victims and the people suffering, right?
I'm telling you that
whatever it is. I personally believe. What do I actually think? Well, I'm no scientist. I think it's a spiritual thing.
LMNOP, QRXYZ to the
root of all of
10,000
this is
billion power. That organization is a terrorist organization.
That's why Satan, you know, in statue form, is hermaphroditic, female breasts, male genitalia. It's always been about that. That's all been always the battle. Everything old is new again. So it's time to reconnect with what this really is, which is a spiritual battle. Be on the right side of it. Like us, like, share, and subscribe. See ya.
All right, thank you, Benny. Keep it moving.
Now the nuclear talks between the United States and Iran have wrapped up in Geneva. Trey Inks.
We're going to war soon.
Trey, did we hear anything coming out?
We're about to go to war. Any moment.
Yeah, Ashley, good morning. The second round of negotiations in Geneva, Switzerland, aimed at reaching a nuclear agreement with Iran have finished. Iran's foreign minister says a memorandum of understanding was reached with the U.S., but we didn't get much more than that. We do know, according to Iranian state media, that technical details were discussed, including Iran's uranium enrichment and stockpile levels. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner participated in the indirect negotiations that were led by Omani officials, with Iran's foreign minister leading the opposing delegation. Overnight, President Trump was asked about the talks, saying this.
Yeah, I know, right? So why
deal is
having
next to
guns?
impossible? No, I think they want to make a deal. I don't think they want the consequences of not making a deal. They want to make a deal.
As negotiators gathered in Geneva, Iran's
But
supreme
they still find a way to
leader
get guns,
Iran, amid
Terry.
a crowd that chanted and cheered, the Ayatollah Khamenei issued a new threat against the U.S. Navy.
They keep saying we have sent warships toward Iran. Okay, of course, a warship is a dangerous device, but more dangerous than that is a weapon that can send that warship deep under the sea.
This gives you a sense of where things are at
Deep
in
under
the
the
region.
sea.
There is a
You
massive
know,
U.S. military buildup.
the US is
President
gonna
Trump
attack
urging
Iran.
diplomacy, and Iran's supreme leader is threatening the U.S. military.
Yeah.
Ashley?
All right, Trey Inks, thank you very much for
That's
that.
the game we
And
wanna
as we
play?
just talked
Okay,
about,
let's
nuclear
have some
talks
fun.
Wrapping up in Switzerland, but
Let's see who goes
President
down
Trump
under
said
first.
he would have his hand in them. Listen to this.
I'll be involved in those talks indirectly,
Let's make it
and they'll
big.
be very important. And we'll see what can happen. I mean, it's been typically Iran's a very tough negotiator. I would say they're bad negotiators because we could have had a deal instead of sending the B-2s in to knock out their nuclear potential. We had to send the B-2s. I hope they're going to be more reasonable. It's told that a deal is next to impossible. No, I think they want to make a deal. I don't think they want the consequences of not making a deal.
Sleep apnea treatment.
All right, join me now to
I have a
talk about this.
CPAP.
Victoria Coates,
I
National
use
Security
every
Vice
night.
President of the Heritage Foundation.
It helps me sleep.
Victoria, let's begin
Helps me
there.
breathe
Iran
better.
says they're open to compromise if the U.S. is willing to discuss lifting sanctions. What does that look like, and could that happen? It seems to me that President Trump would not be keen to lift sanctions because they're a huge tool in these negotiations.
Oh, absolutely, Ashley. That's why the Iranians are talking at all. They have an imploding economy. Some estimates have the inflation at 79%. And I would say for the supreme leader, he might have an easier time sinking an aircraft carrier than he does fixing that economy. So that's why they're talking. But they have no interest in actually dismantling their nuclear program, limiting their missiles, or
a carrier. You know what you're going to get.
And both President Trump and Secretary Rubio have been very clear.
Like, yeah, I'll
those are
sink
the
your
conditions.
carrier.
So we'll see if they get enough economic pain. Maybe there's a deal to be had.
If you think one
but
of the,
it's hard for me to see it coming out of Geneva right
you
now.
sink a carrier,
The early attack
you're getting an atomic
by
weapon.
the U.S. And Israel on the nuclear facilities. How much does that play into their psyche? Because they know this president will deliver what he promises, so to speak.
No, it should definitely play into their psyche, as well as the fact that for the entire 12-day war, Iran was defenseless in the air against both the Israelis and the Americans. They couldn't do anything about it. And we operated with impunity, as did our Israeli allies, to strike what we wanted to strike. And so they know that. They know they can't do anything about that. And so the president is literally moving the biggest gun in the world, our top aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford, into the region. It should be there in 5-6 days. We'll see what happens then.
Be interesting. Let's turn to another conflict. The U.S. Holding peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. President Trump pushing for a deal here. Do you think we're making any progress? It feels like we're not, but I'm not behind the scenes.
It's really slow and painful, Ashley. And bear in mind, next week we're going to mark the 4th anniversary of this horrible war and all of the death and destruction that has come with it. And it's just amazing to think it's been 4 long years. And I think to President Trump's credit, he's got the parties at the table at long last. So those conversations at least are some small bit of progress. But really, quite frankly, until Putin decides that the war is too expensive for him, or he needs to start regrouping his military, I don't think we're going to see a final deal. We might get to a ceasefire, and we can all hope for that.
Yeah, at least that would be a start. I want to get this into Victoria. Secretary of State Marco Rubio shined on the global stage at the Munich Security Conference this weekend. Meanwhile, several Democrats, potential 2028 contenders, got very poor marks. Many of them used the platform just to blast President Trump. What was your reaction to the speeches? I want to kind of highlight Rubio because I thought his speech was excellent.
It really was. This wasn't a fair fight in any way, shape, or form. Secretary Rubio obviously has been a major figure in American foreign policy for well over 10 years, and it showed. And he gave a really powerful speech following up on the vice president's message in Munich last year about the need for Europe to save itself so it can be a strong partner to the United States. While AOC couldn't seem to find Taiwan on a map, and Gavin Newsom was trying to drive us back into the Green New Deal. So as I said, not a fair fight. Very good look for the administration.
Very good indeed. We'll leave it right there. Victoria Coates, great stuff as always. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think something big is going to happen. All right, let's Melody King. We're going to jump on to Melody King. About 24-minute viewing here, so let's watch.
Believing in that Jeffrey Epstein actually deleted himself, that he's actually dead. We've actually seen, I showed you the facial comparison of Ghislaine Maxwell at her last hearing on the 9th of this month, where it's not the same person. Everyone is now talking about that because it's not. The face does not match up at all. Right. And then also there's these photos of Epstein being put out right when the files drop. I think some of it was AI. I think some of it's real, but you have to understand they are always looking to deceive us. They always want to, confuse the masses. Chaos out of order. What did Littlefinger always say in Game of Thrones? Chaos is a ladder, but that is a principle that they hold true to. And we're not talking about just the government. We're talking about the principalities, those who run this earth, who run this world, as the Bible says. But along with that, some people may say, well, that's just speculation. That, there's no really concrete proof. We don't have people can look at the pictures they put out of him on the stretcher and see that did not look like him. The ears didn't match. Yeah. we could see that they happened to the day he deleted himself. Well, then,
the body.
oh, the cameras just malfunctioned and stopped
Bring
working. The
open up
officers
the
there,
body
they just happened to fall asleep.
and get
And
more
so,
DNA
you
and
know,
make
they
sure it's
faked the
him.
records of going to go check on him. We see, guys, the list goes on and on. We know that they actually put a fake video. The Department of Justice took a video from YouTube, a fake video, put it in the Epstein files as though this was real footage. And once people realize, hey, this is a video from YouTube, this is fake, well, then they just deleted it and act like it never happened. I actually have a video of someone screenshotting, going to look at that video on the Department of Justice website and filming it. And then once people started talking about this, they were called out about it. Well, then suddenly it's gone now. It's deleted. And we're seeing that as more people are calling out things that I think they didn't mean to put out. Well, now once they find out, what are they doing? Well, they're going backtracking and deleting that footage, right? And we also know, guys, only 2% of the files have been put out. I kid you not, only 2%, 300 gigabytes, where the total number that they've done the investigations of, Channel 4 over in the UK, they did a deep dive investigating, and they've seen that originally it's supposed to be 40 to 50 terabytes of files. But then later on in emails, they said we have settled on about 15 terabytes. But yet they've only put out 300 gigabytes, which equals to about 2%. So they're hiding a lot, but things are sloppy and things are slipping out. But this right here, guys, I don't know how they're going to explain this away. They probably won't even respond to it. But this is something you need to see, because I think it definitively proves that Epstein did not die in 2019, as they've told us. So this is from the Epstein files. I'll show at the end, I'll show you the file number if you want to go and look at this for yourself. They have not taken this down yet, but this is from July 6th of 2021. Now you can see these are like officials talking from the Department of Health and Human Services. Okay. The Office of the Inspector General. Now I'm going to go to the bottom, because you know with emails, they start at the bottom, and you might be shocked at what you're about to see. I cannot make it any bigger. It would just, like the way it's formatted, it won't fit on the screen any better, but hopefully, guys, trust me, I'll give you the file number so you can see it for yourself. So let's start at the very bottom. So it says here, I'm going to read it. I'm going to be looking over here because the screen is bigger. This one's so tiny, and I want to be able to give you exactly what it says. So as you can see, names have been redacted, but they did not redact the U.S. Department of Justice. So this is the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Justice, people from those two agencies that are talking back and forth. All right, now look at what they have to say. It says, "Hi, blank, hope you and your family had a great 4th. I know you've got a lot going on this week, but I spoke with blank, and he has no problem with our team debriefing Epstein regarding the Schatz et al. Guys, look at this. I know you have a lot going on this week, but I spoke with blank, and he has no problem with our team debriefing Epstein. How are you debriefing Epstein in 2021?
Yeah.
When he was supposedly died 2 years earlier.
Yeah, that's just something weird.
There's more. Okay. So I think this is an initial. That's why it's so short, that little part. But right here, starting off, have no problem with our team debriefing Epstein. This is in the Epstein files. The subject is Epstein, meaning Jeffrey Epstein. According to the Department of Justice, because this email is from the Department of Justice, I believe to Health and Human Services, they are saying, the DOJ is saying right here in this email, that their team needs to debrief him. Do you have his counsel's contact, meaning his lawyer? And would you be able to dial into a debrief anytime this week? Our team can handle the report and make sure you get a copy. What? So not only are they debriefing him, they want to set up, and this person needs a contact with his counsel. I guess the counsel he has now. Guys, this is wild. This is wild. Let's go up. All right. So the response is, they blocked out the whole name. The response is, I can do anytime tomorrow or Thursday morning. Friday is bad. Thursday works for me. Blank, are you on Arizona time this week? If so, what does morning mean for you this week?
Arizona time.
LOL. Friday, I am on Arizona time through next week. Smiley face. So morning is same as you all Thursday. Exclamation point. Epstein does live in Colorado. So he is 2 hours behind, though he has jumped on calls as early as 9 a.m. Eastern in the past. My only other thing Thursday is a debrief at 2 p.m. Thursday. So according to the government, in the Epstein files is a real document. They are saying that he lives in Colorado and that they've done other calls with him as well.
Wow.
Is this not wow? Response. I have a debrief scheduled for Thursday at 1
I
p.m.
need to start
too.
believing the
FYI.
unbelievable.
I need one LOL. So I don't know if this is 3 people because this person says it and then the next person says, oops, yeah, me too. Or is that him responding? Oops, yeah, I have one, not just at 2, I have one at 1 p.m. as well. What are we saying here, folks?
Probably getting a massage.
EFTA 01656-140. This is in the files. Either they purposely put it out because they want us to know that he's still alive, which is what they did with Ghislaine Maxwell and putting out that sloppy central casting person that was supposed to be her, if we've seen that. But now look at, or maybe they're just so sloppy, they're inundated because, again, if there's 15 terabytes of data that they've narrowed down, but only releasing 300 gigabytes, well, it would make sense that the government would make a lot of mistakes. If we know the government is not the most efficient, they are, even the first batch that was put out, instead of it being blocked out, people could actually, it was just kind of like a highlight on top. So people were just copying it and pasting it and putting it into Microsoft, and then the block out would disappear. But with this one, it doesn't work with this one. They actually made sure that it was there this time. But now they let this slip through. And again, I will never say, oh, it was an accident. They didn't mean to do it. Possibly. But again, I also think they're trying to create a lot of chaos and confusion. And they want people looking every which way because they are doing other things behind the scenes, things going on. Especially, I've told you about the nearly 20 laws that are being legislated this month. No one's talking about it. That will effectively end freedom of speech and force us to get digital ID. And that's just the federal level. There's state level laws, one that has passed in Florida, and that are doing almost kind of like a redundancy. So even if something doesn't pass in the federal level, well, it's going to pass in the state. Now, to drive this point home, there's a lot of things I can get into, but I want you to look. This is Epstein alive, right? You see on the left, and then Epstein dead on the right.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the ear shape. Go up here. Look at the nose. Better picture to show the nose shape.
Even
so you can see here, Epstein alive on the right.
It's different.
Who
Look at the
is that?
nose.
You're telling me that's
Who is this guy?
That's laying there with that same nose? Makes you think of what we reported on with Elaine. Look at
her too.
Look at her. Let me move this down for you. Look
You
at
see
how
her?
the face
It's a little. Look at what happened to her nose. Did she get a nose job in jail?
Look at the chin. Here,
Look at the
she has
eyes
a double
match
eyelid.
on the ground.
The ears are detached in that picture. They're attached in this one. The nose is narrow and comes to a point, it's wide. Her
Or
philtrum
even her
is
the lips here, you could just
so you want to tell
doesn't look
me
right. The
those are
chin
the same
looks it's a
people?
bad giveaway.
And now that we have this, we have this, and that
This
is,
this
guys,
does make
that is from Ghislaine
no.
Maxwell on February 9th, an official congressional hearing that she reported to. Right now, people are also trying to do voice analysis on it, which I will follow up with it. But I'm sorry. Either they want us to know that they are that Ghislaine is not in prison, that this was all a farce, or they and that Jeffrey
I don't
is not
know.
dead, or I don't know, they're just being sloppy. I don't think they're being sloppy because they know everyone is paying attention to this. Everyone is digging through this stuff.
Just the chin.
I think a
It would
lot of what
drives
is
me
going
crazy. Right
on
here,
is just
you see
is
how it's like
psychological
straight
conditioning for us
down.
who have raped and eaten our babies, who have done the most heinous things. And guys, I have some very dark things that have come out in the files that
Tired of
I don't even know if I want to
it
report it on the main thing,
bullshit.
because I
Yeah, I know.
just having that
Me
out
too.
there, just talking about some of these details, it's so grotesque. We've already known a lot of it, but it's just actually detailed report from a 6-year-old girl make you just want to just crawl in a hole and die. But we cannot. We have to see these things. We have to understand what is going on. We have been under a great deception for a long time. If you want to go head over to Melanie Reacts, that link will be below. I just posted a video about the ice wall for the first time, being able to film it just this week.
Yeah, I got that video
just
up.
this week for the first time. And for the first time, someone was allowed to live stream from the ice wall there in Antarctica. And guess what? The ice is not white, it's blue. Which is something, it is a special kind of ice, which if you want to get into those details and how it relates to the firmament, I have a whole detailed thing about it over there. But this was live streamed. The
Watching
guy's name is
next.
Ice Poseidon, I believe. And I have another group from Ghana that have gone down there. They've been putting up videos and showing the ice wall for the first time. We've never been this close. And guess what just happened? There is a giant hole, like a cave in the ice wall that the people are saying that just appeared like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago for the first time. They don't know where it came from. It's not man-made, but this hole was not there previously. Why are they allowing us to see this truth? Even if it's just partial. Why is that? Because I believe they know their days are numbered and that at any moment Jesus Christ is returning. Guys, the signs are everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay, every prophecy in the Bible has come to pass. They're building the third temple. I have an update for that. I'm going to be doing that over on Melanie Reacts. I want to kind of stick to kind of the Epstein things and combing through some of these other issues over here. And over there, I'm going to be showing you there's some signs and wonders in the sky that we are commanded by Jesus Christ himself to look for. And that when you see these things, know that that he is returning at any moment. And like the hour of his return is here. We are commanded, no man knows the day or the hour, but we are told to know the season. And Jesus specifically tells us to know it and to look for those signs. That is why this is all important. So if you take one thing in isolation, 2 things, 5 things, 10 things, maybe, everybody thought Jesus was returning. No. In the past, they may have thought it, but now we have definitive proof of all of these things. I mean, when I tell you, I have never, in the history of the world, we have never seen the things that we're seeing. The history of the world, we've never seen revealed to the masses, our government and leaders and the politicians and celebrities and leaders of corporations. Well, they're part of a satanic cabal that does this to our children. Breeder farms was looking at the DNA manipulation, things that were just conspiracy theory, or they're coming out in the Epstein files all right now. While all the digital ID is coming to lock us down. Like we are in the last days. Just last night, I was just begging the Lord, please come back, please return, because what is to come next, guys, through tribulation after the rapture, you do not want to be here for that. I promise you. What you think is bad or has ever happened, I've told you 200 million of Satan's hell riders will be coming out of the pit of hell and will kill 1/3 of the earth. I've told you that there will be giant locusts that will feed on you and you cannot die, but they're not locusts. Okay. the way to describe is what you see in all the ancient carvings. These beings that existed before, they are demonic hybrid beings that are Nephilim. Because what did the Nephilim do? They made it with animals and created these things. These locusts, they will come out. They have human faces, a lion's body. They'll have wings, these giant claws, teeth like a lion, and they will feed on you, and you will want to die, but you cannot die. This is what the Bible says is coming out next. This is why they're trying to reveal aliens are going to be coming out. There are no aliens. These are demonic beings, and they've conditioned us for what they look like unmasked, that those are what aliens look like. I even have something I want to put out for you guys that in the Bible, it talks about when it's talking about these ships in the Bible, it is literally describing what looks like alien ships, what they've conditioned us to believe are alien ships made out of metal. It is in the Bible. How did I miss it? What was I doing my whole life that I missed all of these things? So understand, even with all of these demonic things coming to light, you may be worried about your children, worried about your future, but understand nothing is new under the sun. We are finally having the veil thinned, the veil lifted, and we're able to see truth like nothing before, because Jesus is giving people one last time to believe in him, that you cannot believe in this government. No one's coming to save you. They don't care. They're done with it. No more Epstein files. Let's just let that go. Nothing to see here, folks. But then also, I've never seen the level. I've never seen people just like finally believing the conspiracy. Couldn't be possibly be, because if you don't know, McGraw-Hill was owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father, where the majority of our school books came from. So people are having a great awakening. As you know, there is a lot of censorship here on YouTube. And even just yesterday, I had a video that they took down. Stephen Colbert did not want me to play that video. Clearly, I couldn't even post it for members. I had to take it down and keep the clips in and put it on my Patreon. The link for my Patreon is down below, where I can talk about uncensored things, things that they try to have completely struck down off of YouTube. I'm going to be putting them over there. So the video that you saw me put up earlier today, well, that I had to cut those out in order for you guys to get them. So there is a lot of censorship going on. And one way you can support me is at realmelanieking.com. I have custom merch. I've shown you guys a lot of it, but this is one of the things I've been highlighting. This is one of my newer things. This is called the Great Awakening, which came about during the Pizzagate. Out the truth, you're over here, but there is a whole world of conspiracy theory, or I like to say conspiracy truth, that you don't know. But this is one way. This is why I call this my Great Awakening map, and I have this in different colorways. But one of the things I have on the back, it says, "Believe your eyes, not their lies," because they have conditioned the majority of us to not believe what we see with our eyes, to dismiss everything. That's part of the agenda with AI. Now, if truth comes out, well, you just dismiss it. Oh, it must be AI. It must be AI. Everything's AI. They're desensitizing us for what is to come. That's what I believe Project Bluebeam is. I believe that is a psyop. I don't believe they're going to do Project Bluebeam. I think that was put out as a psyop and by the CIA to infiltrate and to have people believing that when the rapture happens, what one group will say, "Oh no, these people were abducted by aliens," and then the other group will say, "No, that's Project Bluebeam." I'm telling you now, they have layers of deception. We've proven this, where I've gone over and over about how when we went to Iraq, we didn't go over to Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. A lot of people know that. But they say, well, no, we went over there for oil. No,
we went there
Saddam
for
Hussein thought he was a
history.
Reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar. And he had found the tomb of Gilgamesh. Nimrod, as he's known in the Bible, one of the Nephilim, one of the original Nephilim. He was 2/3 demon and 1 part human. The Bible talks about this. Okay. And he was such a disgusting thing. This is where I talk about how if you see the dog face people are depicted. I actually was doing a deep study on that earlier. I want to unpack that for you guys. But these were, every civilization depicted these, wrote about them, talked about them. Now they tell us it was just make believe and it was just mythical. No, they were reporting it as fact, that these dog-like creatures, they had human bodies in a dog face. and they were giants, they were seen as gods, as among with other things. Well, one of the ways they came about was because Nephilim began mating. Nimrod specifically, it says he began mating with the animals and created these demonic beings. This is why Hillary Clinton in the Pizzagate in her files, well, essentially WikiLeaks of her email, she's looking for the DNA of Gilgamesh. So is Jeffrey Epstein. Why? They want that demonic DNA. So anyway, Saddam Hussein found the tomb of Gilgamesh, all right? And there was also a Stargate, which is a demonic portal. So what happened? Well, we went right over there at that point,
That's
built
why
a
they were calling
military
it the
base
weapon of
over
mass
the tomb, over the
destruction.
site, right? We built it
Hello.
right over that.
They were
And it was
saying, we
reported all
know
in the
we
news
have
about
the
finding
weapon
Gilgamesh,
of
all
mass
in the news
destruction.
about the Stargate.
It
And then
wasn't
all of a sudden,
an
just
atomic
disappear. Didn't have
weapon.
social media back
No,
then, so
it
people
was
couldn't talk about it.
Stargate.
But now we see in the release documents now, and there's been other documents, but then we also see going all the way back to Pizzagate, Hillary
This
Clinton talking
is-
about the same thing. These things are real. They believe in the Bible. Why do you think they're worshiping Baal and Moloch, sacrificing children? These are, I believe, a lot of what we call our government officials, that they are demonic beings masquerading as humans. It says the angels took the image of men. They can shapeshift. This may sound crazy and alien to you, but if you're watching this, it doesn't. But understand where this always leads to, and it always leads back to the Bible. It always leads back to God's word being true. And again, this is why they are really proud of themselves for sacrificing and eating our children. They are energy harvesting off of us, excited that we are all in terror, realizing that these things are true, that they're sacrificing our babies, they're sacrificing people, that they believe in these ancient gods. They've always believed in it, but they have taught people today to be atheists, to not believe their eyes, not believe the truth, to not believe the word of God. And for the most part, it's worked. Because look how deeply indoctrinated and programmed the majority of people are. This is why a lot of people are in shock right now, but the conspiracy theories are not. We've been seeing these things and saying them, but it was dismissed as tenfold. But now the veil once again is being lifted. And I believe it is your last opportunity. Jesus is giving you one last opportunity.
There's a lot
Yahweh,
that are awake, but
Yeshua,
there's
the
a lot of
Father, is giving
people.
you one last opportunity to receive him, to believe the word of God, to understand that there's no one coming to save you in this government. There's no politician. There's no place you can go. They are bringing down, the beast system is ready. Because while that was the first project Stargate, where we found the tomb of Gilgamesh and that Stargate, well, the new $1 trillion AI data center, mostly in Texas, that is being built, and our government's in a rush to do, well, that is the second Stargate project. And when they asked Sam Altman how they came up with the Stargate name, he said, just some names stick. Really? Is that what you want to do? So again, I always want to reiterate, you don't have to believe the word of God. You don't have to believe the conspiracy theories, but they do. So with that, guys, again, the link will be below for realmelanieking.com, as well as my other channel, if you want to go ahead and see that new footage of the ice wall, and as well as other ways that you can support me here. So with that, I will see you on the next one.
That's what's up, Maddie King. We're definitely going to see her next video coming up. We just do some setting up here. But I always said there's a lot of people. Train of Truth is here. It's the confirmation. That's the confirmation train. I always said people are asleep. People are not paying attention. A lot of people are they're busy. They have lives. They have children. They have, priorities. They don't have time to really sit there and think. They don't have the time. They don't have like what I'm doing right now. They don't have that time to do. They're very busy with their lives. And a lot of things going on. And it's understandable because that's how the system keeps you. It keeps you tied in and occupied, and it sucks, and the fact that I escaped that, I escaped that near death, definitely that death experience that I went through really did something to me, and I'm not part of this cycle, and I feel like out of place. And then I'm seeing everything just collapsing in front of my eyes, like seeing AOC struggle in the world stage in front of millions and millions of people that are watching worldwide, and she just fell flat like a pancake, like on her face. That is priceless. That is confirmation for me that we don't need these individuals. We don't need like a Hillary Clinton to be in the world stage trying to like push her authority, her authority around. Like, lady, you weren't even the fucking president back in the day. You was just the president's wife. And actually, to tell you the truth, I think you were the side chick because Bill had his weenie somewhere else. And I tell you, it was in Monica's mouth. Ah, oh, Lord. Monica Lewinsky. We'll never forget that one. She really deep throated that one. But don't trust her. if you ever see Monica Lewinsky, run. Run. Don't look back. Just keep running. It's just like that, man. She's there's something about Hillary. Um, people tend to just die while she's around, and if you're talking shit about her, you tend to like die. And I'm like, bitch, come after me. I'll poke you in your fucking eyes. I'll use my wand and I'll poke her right in the eye. All right, here we go. Let's go with the melody. We're gonna watch that second video because it's very interesting. So let's go ahead and set this up. A lot of clicky. Here we go. I like that shirt.
This could be close enough. I think climbing up there. The video toenails so good.
If you don't know, what you just saw was the ice wall. Now we're going to get into it. I'm going to play some clips to help you understand this, and we're going to walk through it. But for the first time ever, people are able to get footage of the ice wall never, ever seen before. There's a couple different people doing it. But this is wild, guys, because you have to understand how important this is and how this ties into understanding that the Bible is true, that the word of God is true, and that NASA, not a space agency, has been lying and putting a great deception on all of us through indoctrination for years. You may not want to believe it. You may think this is crazy, but this is a fact. And to believe anything else is to say that the Bible is not true. But I'm going to show you some of this new footage. Some of it other people have talked about because it just came out, but then there's something that no one else, I haven't seen anybody else show this footage before that I'm going to show in a second.
Well, I'm going to be
an ice wall around the whole world, and we're not allowed to go to it. Literally, if you went over there, they just arrest you, and that's because they don't want people to know that the world is surrounded by a 200-foot tall ice wall, and that's what we call Antarctica. So all of this stuff is really mind-blowing when you think about it, but it's important to know.
How about when you talk to all these satellites? Okay, and you go up and they take pictures. Hey, what does it look like? Many have been interviewed. I had one guy that I had on, and he had broke the record for living in space for the longest time. I mean, he lived 250 something days. What does it look like? It's round. Okay, you know, satellites out there. You know, maps. The way we can drive around is because of satellites. When you go, you do MapQuest, or you do maps on Google Maps, or Apple Maps. It's round. What do you say to that?
Okay, so satellites, here's the thing, is that there are some satellites that are on balloons, and it's that simple. They hover up to about 120, 130,000 feet, and they're on balloons. That's why NASA is the #1 user of helium in the world. NASA controls 99% of the helium supply. What they're doing is they're taking satellites, filling up balloons with helium, and hooking satellites to these balloons. They float up about 120, 130,000 feet. That's as high as a balloon's going to go. Now, let me tell you the contrary. If you believe in satellites, that they're actually in space, then you believe that there's about 50,000 or 100,000 satellites traveling around at 17,500 miles an hour. Now, you know, a bullet don't even travel that fast. Do you really think, my brother, do you really believe that there are 50,000 satellites in space right now, 100 miles up in the air, traveling around the planet faster than a bullet? They don't need maintenance. They don't need a fuel source. There's no other proof of them other than NASA says that they're there. Do you really believe that? I'm telling you that nothing in the world can travel 20,000 miles an hour continuously with no fuel source. I'm telling you, we can't even get some.
Sorry, that clip cut off that was from PBD podcast. But essentially, that kind of lays the foundation of like, it's improbable. The things that they say, it makes no sense. And now NASA is getting this proven over and over and over again. They're now going to do an exploratory. Astronauts are going to do this exploratory thing so we can land on the moon again. They're doing it this month, and then we're going to land on the moon again very shortly. Although, guys, they said they lost. The reason why we haven't gone back to the moon is because they've lost the technology. I have played you the videos over and over and how the lies, it makes no sense. They have been debunked over and over. They're even though they're supposed to be in this space capsule or spaceship, and then the hair is floating up. You can literally see the hairspray. It's just stuck. It's just stuck there. And just the things that they say are supposed to happen, they don't. Just look up NASA bloopers. Like I said, I've played them. But now this is the footage of the ice wall. This is the one that a lot of people have not seen. This is a group from Ghana that is trying to prove the firmament and prove the ice wall and what is going on there. And like I said, a little bit further on in this video, I'm going to lay out exactly how the mechanics of that works.
Oh, look at this. Wow. This is beautiful, guys. Look at this. This is fascinating. Wow.
Yeah. My favorite place in Antarctica is this. My favorite place in South Georgia is Hercules Bay.
Yeah.
It's pretty high.
This is beautiful.
I want that marble kitchen.
Why they didn't go there with a drone? They could have seen a lot better with a drone.
With all the strings, huh? This is beautiful. This is absolutely gorgeous.
If they would have had a drone, man, they could have just
like this.
Exactly.
gone up and shown everything.
This is the closest
Yeah.
Beautiful. Me too. That's why I love it. And then you look back and you see that.
Wow.
That looks unreal.
Exactly. That looks like AI.
Huh?
But that's the real thing.
Yeah.
Haters will say it's AI.
You can stand up for a moment if you want to.
Wow.
So we make sure I saw in your video, please.
That is absolutely beautiful. It looks like the cutout of the ship is just stuck on the photo.
Yeah, exactly. That's stunning, guys. That's beautiful. Look at that.
And that's on a cruise.
Now I turned down the volume on this, and let me lower it a bit so you guys can see.
I
it
would have
better.
had a
But look
drone up there.
look at the wall. Look at what it looks like. All right, are you seeing this? I mean, you're telling me this is a natural formation of ice? That's what this is? This is not man-made either. No, people didn't do this. Okay, and this gets into where the firmament is, because look at this. I want to show this section. Let me lower this so you can see it. Look at this giant, that is not a mountain, right? That is a giant mountain of ice, solid ice back there. That's part of the ice wall.
Wow.
So in one part of it, it looks like it's carved, almost like laser carved. Okay, that gets into fallen angel technology, and that gets into how God designed the firmament. But look at what we're seeing here. And there's just shadows on it there, but there's some better video of it in a second. So, but this is the first time we are ever getting this footage. Actually,
Why is it the first time? Like in my phone, I'm trying to answer.
All right, so you're seeing the ice wall. This is the first time we've ever had footage of the ice wall this close up. You can even see the icicles on it. Where's the part of the icicles?
YouTube is having issues
Sorry,
tonight.
I got a couple clips in here. Just want to move this around so you can see it up close. There's the icicles hanging off of it. So, it's frozen. And this isn't, rock painted white. Some people are like, is that rock painted white? That just looks too fake to people. But the thing I want you to take notice of, look at how low the clouds are. Why are the clouds that low? Well, because as you get to the edge of the firmament, okay, as you get to the edge, well, it gets lower and lower and lower, and they're not able to go up but so high. I mean, these look like you can almost reach out and touch them. Look at this cloud. Look at how low they are, right? And there's a lot to prove that there is a firmament and that NASA has just lied about everything, because it's all part of the indoctrination. We know that our school books
the ice is higher than
were
the clouds.
most of them came from McGraw-Hill, which Ghislaine Maxwell's father owned.
Weird.
Guys, they only have released 2% of the Epstein files, and we've got to get into the DNA manipulation.
Yeah, but they say they only
them
released
looking for
2%, but they
Nephilim
said,
DNA,
oh, they
all of the
released
things
all
that
of
the
it.
Bible talks about
Come on, man.
have gone on in the past. You see them talking about it. So the footage isn't
No,
the
fuck
best,
the
but this
Epstein
cloud,
file.
my goodness,
Bring
look at
out
this.
the real Bible.
Look at
from the
how
Vatican.
low it is.
How
But
about
let's
that?
get to the next one.
Let's
Now,
do
this is
that.
a guy named Ice Poseidon. He was live streaming this. Up until, I would say, like a week or two ago, there was a guy that was trying to film the ice wall. He had a Starlink and he was trying to live stream it. Well, they ended up confiscating his Starlink, confiscating his phone, took away his internet. This is what he has footage of them taking it. I think I may have some of that in here. But now this guy, Ice Poseidon, is allowed to film the ice wall. And take note, there is a cave going through the ice wall that is not man-made. And this is the first time they are allowing us to see it. Why is that? Why are they releasing, even partially the Epstein files? Why are now Barack Obama's coming out and saying there's aliens? Trump at any point is supposed to disclose there's aliens. They know the end is near.
Obama
And
loves hot
right
dogs.
now, that truth, the Bible says truth will be revealed. But there will still be a great deception that falls on people. Okay, during the end times, during the tribulation, regardless of this truth coming out, and they're going to come up with all types of excuses. And the number one thing they're going to say, it's aliens. Well, aliens abducted all these people. This is what Project Bluebeam is about, which I don't think Project Bluebeam is real. I think that is a psyop. I think the psyop is not that they're going to do that. I think that was what they put out, or they leaked out, so people think that is what took place. You have to understand that the deception is so deep and so far. If you don't really ask for discernment from the Lord, these things will fool you. And I believe just the things that I have looked at, and I've seen several people now talk about it, that they believe Project Bluebeam, that in itself, not what they're going to do with it, because they're not going to actually do that, but what they're going to blame what's going to happen with the rapture. They believe in the rapture. Why do they always talking about aliens abducting people? Aliens abducting people. It is to set people up and to prime your mind and to program you so that this isn't God. This isn't something supernatural from the Lord. This isn't, Christ's return. No. These are just aliens have abducted us. And that is, and then some people who will still say, oh yeah, that's Project Bluebeam after. So you understand there's layers. They want to even do a psyop on the conspiracy theorists so that they won't believe the truth that has happened. But I find it amazing that for the first time we're getting this footage.
Of many. Oh yeah, this one might beat yesterday's because I like the cave. Right. And the tight opening. The columns, it's like a cathedral. This is natural. Wow, crazy looking. Because look at the way the ice spikes out. That looks like it's intended.
I'm going to do in another video. You see how it's blue, how it's poking out blue? There is a different kind of ice that does not melt, that they study in Antarctica. I have some footage of it. I have some information. People believe that it is ice that is specifically part of the same material that the firmament is made out of. And that is part of what they study. But I want you to notice normal ice does not have that blue tint just in the crevices and cracks, because I believe within there, what's keeping it cold, what's keeping it solid, and why this does not melt is because it is some of the same material that the firmament is made of. All right. It's not the exact same thing, but somehow it seems to, I don't have all the answers, but once we walk through it, you guys can give your opinion of it. But I just take note of that blue. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it looks like a cathedral. No, it's natural though.
There, that's a great picture. That is blue.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
like
blue ice. And in fact, maybe after this, I'll pop in that blue ice so that you guys
blue
can
ice.
understand what I'm talking about. But
Mhm.
look, you can see
Yeah.
it's like a white crust, but it's blue like our sky. Well, they
Mhm.
told us the reason why the sky is blue because it reflects the water, the water, and it turns it blue. No, because the firmament is blue. It's a
Mhm.
blue ice crust. I kid you not. Look, does not.
Mhm.
If you remove the white kind of like surface on it, condensation. I don't know. It seems like a very thin layer because you can see right through it.
Is it really? Really? Yeah.
Mhm.
What, the cave is new?
The cave, yeah.
How new?
I would say 3 weeks.
What?
3 weeks ago, this is not a man-made cave that popped up. What came out of that? What created that hole in Antarctica? What is this? You haven't heard this reported on the news. You
Ice
haven't heard
wouldn't
anyone talk
break
about it.
off
But you
like
see the
that.
guys are just basic guys working there, the tour guide trying to make a living. These are not scientists or anything. But he's saying this is only 3 weeks old.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
So we're like one of the first people to see this.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sick.
So you have flowing water, waterfall. Wouldn't that be frozen?
Mm. Mhm.
How is all of this happening?
No, that should be frozen. It should not be
Patagonia
water
is
flowing.
truly the most beautiful
supposed to
landscape
be-
I've ever.
Nope, we were never supposed to see these, as these biblical stones are coming out everywhere, and what this means for our world is terrifying. People were shocked after it was discovered blue stones, or referred to as sky ice in Antarctica, were found, and they resemble the exact same objects that Ezekiel mentions in the Bible, claiming what the firmament or the dome of earth is made out of, saying the firmament material would appear like sapphire or blue stone. But how this was found is even more insane, as decades ago, a scientist had leaked they found sky ice after years of research in Antarctica, claiming that the government has sealed all this away, knowing could lead to terrifying changes about our planet and science. With him saying that the government had found an entire ice wall made out of the biblical sky ice, the same ice wall that the pancake Earth believers say is in Antarctica, possibly proving that the Earth may be a lot bigger with many more continents than we could ever know on the other side. With any scientific discovery, we need to look at the concrete evidence, and satellite images still point to a frisbee Earth not existing, and likely nothing beyond an ice.
But understand, these satellites are not in outer space. Every image we've ever had of Earth, guys, that is CGI. It's all CGI. We'll do a video on it so you can understand. It's all fake. It
Yeah,
is 100% fake.
Have you ever wondered why the sky is blue? Do you think the reason they give us is the real reason? Could there potentially be something up there that's blue colored that's making us see blue? Well, if you've ever wondered these questions, stick around. I might give you some evidence to make you think it's something that you never did. Let's first look at why they tell us it's blue. They say blue light is scattered more than the other colors because it travels at shorter, smaller waves. This is why we see a blue sky most of the time. I'm a big believer in Occam's razor, which simply says the most.
Let me just say, growing up, that's not what they taught us. They taught us the sky reflects somehow on the ozone. It reflects the ocean. So I guess it's updated. They always update with new things, right? But growing up, that is what I was taught. Now it's different.
Simple explanation is most often the correct one. So could it potentially be we're just seeing something that's actually blue up in the sky? And when I think of seeing something that could actually be blue, it makes me think of this phenomenon that scientists study all the time, and it's not in the mainstream, and it's called sky ice. Now, this is found largely in Antarctica, and it's called sky ice because it happens to have the exact same color as the sky. Now, why would this have such a low profile? Why wouldn't it be talked about? And why would it be found specifically in Antarctica? Well, I want to let you listen to this gentleman that was in the Army and had an experience, and you can hear what he said, and then we'll talk about it some more.
They had two different kinds of ice they worked on and studied. This is where it gets interesting. One kind of ice was the normal kind that we've all seen. They took cores of it out of boreholes in the ground. Just like normal ice, it was mostly clear and sometimes white, and it would melt into liquid water if it got warm. The whole area of Antarctica is covered in this kind of ice. But that wasn't their main kind of ice. The only time I ever saw them actually studying normal ice was when a film crew from National Geographic came by. The rest of the time, which was most of the time, the scientists were studying something they called sky ice. This stuff was totally different. We were never allowed to go into the laboratory areas of the station because the labs had to be kept super clean, and they said it would mess up their work if they risked letting too many people in the lab. But one time, one of the researchers that I was friends with showed me a piece of sky ice. You couldn't touch the stuff with your bare hands because it was so cold. And it wasn't clear or white like normal ice. It was solid blue. He said that's why they call it sky ice, because it was the exact same color as the sky. We had to wear thick, heavy going outside gloves to handle it. The stuff was so cold, it would instantly freeze your skin if you touched it. I don't remember what the temperature he said it was, but it was something like hundreds of degrees below zero.
Now, it's funny to me that they're always finding this sky ice in Antarctica. And what it makes me think of is how Antarctica, in my world, and a lot of people's worlds, is actually the ice wall that surrounds the known lands that would connect to what we call the firmament. Could it be that the firmament comes down in Antarctica and that's where they're getting this blue ice from? You see, every single ancient culture, all of them, until literally today's culture, and until NASA came around in 1958, believed that we lived in an enclosed system with some sort of barrier or dome above us. Could it be that we are seeing the dome, that blue color we see in the sky, is the color of the dome? Even our most ancient of ancient history books, the Bible, references the sapphire stone above our heads. What color is sapphire? Exactly the color of the sky ice and exactly the color of the sky we see every day. So you have to ask yourself, do you believe this, in that we see blue light because the molecules in the air scatter blue light from the sun more than they scatter red light? Or do you believe in Occam's razor, that the simplest explanation is the right one, and that you are living like all the ancient cultures thought, in an enclosed system, and above you, that enclosed system is the color of the sky ice blue? And as always, this is of course just my opinion. I'm not speaking that as fact. It is.
So of course he has to give the disclaimer because he is on TikTok a lot and different platforms, and they will, up until now, they would delete your videos. You weren't allowed to talk about it. You weren't allowed to go there. But isn't it amazing that we can now? And that, let's go back to this. Hold on. And now we can see clearly that blue. It has like a crust of the white because I think of the cold there, and there's probably water and condensation on it. But you can clearly see that that is blue down inside of that. And it makes no sense, the peaks and how it's shaped. If you really believe that, guys, if you really believe that this is just happenstance or this is just fake or it's just AI, you have got to open your eyes, because they have been lying to us all of our lives. And now suddenly the truth is coming out, because I know without a doubt, we are in the final seconds of the last days. Like I said, there's a lot of censorship. I had a video I posted last night on my main channel that automatically got hit. It got blocked by Stephen Colbert. They didn't want me to put that up on YouTube. I had to put up the full video on Patreon, but I had to delete those certain clips, and that part is on my main channel. But as you guys know, it is difficult being an independent. I'm not really a journalist, but an independent researcher, independent person out here speaking the truth. There is a lot of censorship. And so one way that you can support the work I do here is over at realmelanieking.com. I have a lot of different designs, but this is one of the things I wanted to highlight to you. This is the Great Flash. This is part of the Great Awakening collection that I've just put out. And this is called the Great Awakening Map. Now it says for men, but I have this for women as well as other versions of this that you can get. But if you're just waking up, say, to the Epstein files, the ice wall is on here.
She has really cool merch,
like
man.
The Great Awakening
It's so
of the
expensive. That's the only
conspiracy
thing.
theories,
$32.
most of this is not theory. It ends up being true, as we can see.
But it does
But
help
if
her
that's what you're
show.
waking up to, you're over here. You're just over here. And there is a whole lot. This is
Ooh,
for
I like the
men,
colors
women,
on it.
a lot of other designs you can
The
check
blue
out.
pops
But I
out
thought this was a
like
great
the
one
sky
for
ice.
you guys to look at if you don't know what the
She
Great
made it the
Awakening
colors
map
of
is.
sky ice.
And I feel like there's always something I need to make a video of to explain. But hopefully you guys get the idea of what's going on. But with that, the links will be below, how to support me over at realmelanieking.com, as well as other ways. And I will see you guys on the next one.
She has good merch. I like it. I mean, it's Melanie King. Let's bring it back to me, my minority matter. The trains are passing by like crazy. But it's very interesting to think about. You know, we're living in the Truman Show. Like everything that's been taught to you has been manipulated, and everyone got programmed by it. And a lot of people are stuck in that matrix. I'm so out of that matrix, man. I'm telling you, between me and with my injury and breaking my neck and having that TBI and freaking having a surgery and separate, had a surgery, and it was a colonoscopy, I believe, and trying to wake up from that, and my heart stopped, and pretty much I died, and they had to resuscitate me. Someone was on top of me, giving me chest compressions, and it was like, I remember I talked about this so much on my show. I mean, when people go back and like to my past and watch my past shows and how I speak about that story, because my mind goes through like PTSD phase, and it just comes out and it plays like a movie. Sometimes I hit stop. I don't want to see the movie. But living in very unique times. And I feel like I'm unplugged. Like I'm like kind of like Neo, but like in the out, like in, but looking like from out in, and seeing how the NPCs work and how every day the NPCs do their thing, and then everyone has their own responsibilities. Sorry, I was yawning. Everyone has their own responsibilities and things they have to do because they got responsibility. Those responsibilities distract you. Like, when's the last time anybody really looked up to the sky? Because they keep you trapped in your house. They don't want you looking up. And then when you look up, it's like full on illusion. And I could speak upon, because I experienced my eclipse when where I was able to capture the partial eclipse, like 99% of the eclipse. I didn't get the full eclipse because the area where I wanted to go was just really jam packed. So I went to this park that I truly love, and it's a good hike if anybody ever goes. Um, but when I saw the eclipse, and then when it happened, and I felt the energy from the eclipse, and it was just weird because I heard all the bugs making like sounds. Like everything was like you hear all these, like the wildlife. Like you heard a lot of wildlife, and they were just like acting like, just making loud noise. It was just the weirdest thing. I never ever experienced that. I recorded it. I have the footage. Um, I put some of them on my shorts a long time ago, but yeah, I have the videos, I think, on my channel. Anybody want to go back and watch the clips? Um, but I felt that energy, like something weird, and that eclipse crossed the United States. I've been through a couple of eclipses, a lot of partial eclipse and stuff, but like full on eclipse, like 99%. This was my first time experiencing it. Like, it got dark and it got cool. That was one thing I did notice. Like, it got chilly for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And then all the bugs and all you hear them all making the sounds. It was so unique. So unique. All right, so let's continue on with set it up. Liberal hive mind. Liberal hive mind. Let's see what he has here. Got a few.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. I was just saying in my earlier recorded video that, we're in a completely new era here after Trump won.
I missed the
Immediately, you can just kind of feel
Everyone
the pressure
who didn't
alleviate,
watch
especially
it.
as right-wing
We
content
won.
creator. The moment the administration shifted, it's almost as if everybody just kind of expected that this era of censorship that we were feeling was going to be at least lessened to a certain extent. And we just went through a crackdown right late in the election as channels were getting banned left and right and getting channel strikes for general misinformation when covering Joe Biden. And so, it felt almost as if we were at a crossroads. Then Donald Trump gets elected, we go down the path of light, and boom, social media companies all of a sudden start admitting that they were wrong during COVID.
Yep.
They start unbanning people, giving people a second chance, and all of a sudden, all these random phantom strikes
all
that
my
were hitting all
videos
the
back.
right-wing channels, stuff that gets you either suspended for 1 week or 2 weeks, well, all of a sudden, it's no longer happening. No general misinformation video takedowns. All this to say that the moment Donald Trump was elected, so much changed. All of a sudden, it felt like the Overton window had shifted. And in this case, it shifted so vigorously that it appears the Democrats are still feeling the seismic shockwaves. In other words, they're getting slapped so freaking hard in the face with reality. This is a different era, and you can no longer go on these networks or show up at these fancy globalist events spewing absolute utter nonsense. And here's the perfect example of that. Eric Swalwell eating an entire bowl of FU as he tries to push his deranged conspiracy theories on CNN. Yeah, I think the idea of elections having consequences is finally starting to dawn on these Democrat donkeys. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so apologies ahead. Disclaimer, you're about to get exposed to Eric Fartwell's freaking stupidity.
The name that is listed the most in these files and talked about the most is Donald Trump. And of all the people that Jeffrey Epstein talked to in the world, and it looks like this guy got around, and there are millions of files, and Donald Trump's name is mentioned many, many times, up to 1 million. Some are speculating through the searches. There's only one person that Jeffrey Epstein described as his best friend, and that's Donald Trump. But the effort since this summer, and I want to just walk you through the timeline, has been to avoid this at all costs on the Republican side. They refused to swear in Adelita Grijalva when she would have been the person that got the Epstein discharge over the goal line. During the summer, they were willing to shut down the government because they didn't want these files to be released. And again, the Department of Justice won't release all of the files now, and many of them, are redacted, and only about 50% have come forward. It's a cover-up job at the Department of Justice, but we're not going anywhere.
And certainly Trump's name has been in there quite a lot, and he has not been accused of any wrongdoing, but certainly it raises questions the way that this release has happened, as you noted, from the survivors themselves who have been on this show and have asked why it's being handled this way.
I'm watching this after months of Epstein this, Epstein that. Democrats really seized the day on that one. Once again, they seized a frickin' boomerang, tossed it in the air, and now it's coming back to hit them square in the frickin' face. This Epstein thing is thoroughly backfiring. It's blowing up in their faces. And it's also the Trump era that's blowing up in their face. You know, back in the day, they used to be able to get away with this stuff. But now, oh, how things have changed. CNN, of course, listening to whatever Eric Fartwell is meandering about, and they're probably, you know, prepared for these moments. Behind the scenes, they vetted the information. They followed the Epstein files appropriately, at least probably, again, behind the scenes. They've done their basic editorial work, and they know, surprise to very few people these days, the Democrats are freaking lying. And when normally in the past they would have just, you know, ran with the conspiracy theory, just like with all that Russia nonsense. Oh yes, Adam Schiff, it appears you're finally out the psych ward. What was that when you were saying there's more than circumstantial evidence of Trump-Russia collusion? Yes, please continue on. Oh, they ate that stuff up. All these blue anon freaks spewing their absolute utter insanity on the net night by night. Oh, let me tell you, George Stephanopoulos, about the Donald Trump PP tapes. Absolute morons. But nowadays, it's a little bit different. And of course, we know why. Because of all the winning. And specifically in this case, winning in the courts. Yeah, I'd say this time, after seeing Donald Trump win lawsuit after lawsuit, and it appears the BBC's about to make him an even more wealthy man. I mean, he's won tens of millions of dollars at this point. And I've also noticed that the lawsuit amounts just, continue to escalate in some sense. It's almost as if there's legal precedence now, giving them more leverage, posting bigger numbers. I mean, we've been through this a million times. We're going to win this case again. You better pay me $35 million. And so considering this dynamic of sorts and CNN's current situation, you know, as their ratings are falling off a freaking cliff, their numbers are down 66% since 2016. The network's in full freefall mode. Yeah, I think they're clearly thinking twice before allowing these moronic Democrats to continue running loose with their mouths. And it's just so pathetic to watch these Democrats try to spin the Epstein thing, and apparently still continue to do so after it's clearly not working in their favor. When week after week, I mean, it's one left-wing big money Democrat after another. I mean, to show up on the news and suggest that Trump is the most prominent in the Epstein files, it's just so utterly ridiculous. Oh, and speaking of big money Democrats getting exposed one after another, we've got a new update here. Hyatt Hotels billionaire executive chairman Tom Pritzker resigns, citing association with Epstein, according to Bloomberg. The name Pritzker rings a bell. Oh, it's J.B. Pritzker's cousin. Oh, well, small world it appears. And this pizza planet, of course, appears to be inhabited by Democrats. You know, the big power players that seem to be bankrolling these top-level Democrats. We saw that with Stacey Plaskett, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer. Oh, do they love the Epstein dollars? So many Democrats involved in so little time. And so you kind of notice it's slowly starting to backfire, right? At first, they were giddy. Ooh, Epstein, we're going to weaponize this against the president. You're a pedo protector is what they were saying. Absolutely disgraceful human beings. There's a severe shifting of the goalposts of sorts.
Is Trump? Yes. And everybody should continue to dig more about that. But it is the wealthy, the elites, and basically every faction of the world. It's global leaders. It's people in the business sector. It is people in Hollywood, probably. Who knows? It is a bunch of people who think that they can get away with anything.
Oh, now all of a sudden we're using disassociative language. Oh, yes. Oh, those Epstein files. Certainly about Donald Trump, but also all of these powerful, blanket sort of terms. A phantom, nefarious group of powerful elites. All these other people. Yeah, certainly no Democrats. It's everybody but Democrats. And it's all these nondescript powerful people. And of course, President Trump. I mean, what incredibly manipulative language. That's basically what she was saying. That's the angle she was taking. It's everybody but us, and certainly Trump. And you could tell by her body language, she's just uncomfortable. And it's not authentic. She's just grifting. But yeah, all of a sudden, it appears they're slamming the brakes, right? Yeah, now watch it go dead as Democrats retreat. You think they want to show up like Eric Swalwell, spewing this Epstein nonsense just to get legitimately fact-checked because the network doesn't want to get sued after seeing this? No, of course not. Now it appears they've realized we're in the mid-stages of a Democrat hoax. We're approaching the middle of a F-around and find out equation. And I think Democrats have realized they're the only ones left in the firing range. Trump has basically been removed from the situation as of now. It appears he credibly kicked out Epstein from his club, called the police and gave them information about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, pointed the finger at Ghislaine Maxwell as Epstein's co-conspirator. This is on police record gathered by the FBI. Then we've got multiple emails showing that Epstein and Ghislaine were unable to ever entrap President Trump with their honeypot operations. He never partook in massages, is what Epstein referred to it as, and he didn't take Ghislaine Maxwell's bait. I mean, Democrats continue to cope and keep posting all of these anonymous hotline accusations against the president during election seasons, but it doesn't seem to be working. And now I think it's starting to simmer in the back of people's minds. Oh, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman. Yeah, he seems awfully defensive these days. Oh, did you know that J.B. Pritzker's cousin just resigned from his position due to Epstein allegations and ties? Oh, that's awfully coincidental. Oh, and Stacey Plaskett literally taking marching orders from Epstein during a testimony with Michael Cohen back in 2018. You got Bill Clinton pictured with girls and swimming with Ghislaine Maxwell. Hakeem Jeffries appeared to use Jeffrey Epstein as a bankroller. That's what it appears with the emails. And that's a couple years after Jeffrey Epstein had already been exposed to the public as a predator, no less. I think people are starting to ask those questions. I think one side has a pretty decent alibi, and the other side, well, there's a whole lot of noticing going on, a whole lot of connections and patterns, a whole lot of names. Bill Clinton's about to testify after refusing a subpoena. I mean, it's just so telling. We're hitting the late stages of a Democrat psyop territory, and now we're in the slow backfire part, where Democrats get hit with the frickin' shrapnel. But I don't know, that's just me. Keep dropping those Epstein files, and please, let's start re-releasing with a whole lot less redactions on the names associated with very suspicious emails. One step at a time, and slowly let's really truly complete this backfire event. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go straight to the next one because we've got another one to watch. Here.
Democracy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, holy frickin' moly, this is quite the bombshell. You know, we got another shocking document that just dropped, another leak of sorts, that for some reason isn't really even making headline news. No, it's just a couple people posting it on social media, but it should be a whole lot bigger than that because holy frickin' moly, I mean, this is bad. And again, you know, it's more proof to what we've been saying that what the Democrats engage in, what they do, it's all engineered, it's all coordinated, especially these anti-ICE riots that they pretend is just a groundswell of outrage. It's la resistance, standing up against the fascist Trump, when in reality, it's all well-funded and coordinated, and now we're learning just how widespread that is, because it's not just Reid Hoffman, it's not just George Soros and his puppet organizations. No, let's add the teachers' unions to the list. It's exactly as I've been saying, the Democrats are using their connections, they're using their position, controlling public schools and teachers' unions to essentially create an army of left-wing street-level activists, foot soldiers. In other words, they're trying to turn America's kids into their next generation of revolutionaries. Kind of reminds me of a certain German leader in 1940s who did a little bit of a similar thing, huh? Well, let me show you guys exactly what's going on with this explosive finding. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this document here. Let's read it. This is from the NEA. That's the National Education Association. Well, apparently this is a memo that they passed to their members, and just listen to this crap. New business item 63 adopted. NEA opposes Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE kidnapping of student leaders and supports students' rights to organize against ICE raids and deportations. Now, first of all, you can sense the delusion in that statement. Kidnapping of student leaders? What are you even on about? Then the next line gives it away. Quote, we support students' rights to organize against ICE raids and deportations. I mean, is that an open admission? And what right do you have to organize against federal operations? I mean, protests, sure. And this is purposely vague language, but essentially the way I'm reading it is our students have the right to impede law enforcement and stop ICE raids and deportations. You know, again, it's always with this freaking leftist doublespeak. They make it seem as if what they're doing is, oh, we're just protecting people's rights. But this thing is oozing of far left fucking schizophrenia. We must all rise together against Donald Glorf, who is apparently kidnapping our student leaders. Oh, Lord. It goes on, we will protect our students' rights to free speech and defend their right to dissent and organize against Trump's policies, including attacks against LGBTQ plus students and against racism. Oh, okay. We will mobilize our students and enable them to fight the fascist agenda of Donald Glorf, and I guess his generally defined racism. I mean, who are the pink-haired freaks writing this stuff? They write, NEA will use existing media platforms to organize and join actions with other unions, communities, immigrant rights, and civil rights organizations in support of defending students' right to protest. Cost implications. This item cannot be accomplished with current staff and resources under the 2025-2026 Modified Strategic Plan budget. It would cost an additional $32.5 thousand. Just freaking Looney Tunes land. And it goes to show, these people have one job. It's called educating the masses, but clearly they're more focused on indoctrinating the masses. They want to use their army of teachers to push back against the Trump administration, and obviously, by extension, continue to use kids as their foot soldiers. And all of this, of course, comes right downstream from the Democrat Party. They're not fighting fascism. They're fighting the Trump agenda and using every Democrat resource available, in this case, teachers' unions. They're simply an extension of Democrat federal power. And now it appears they're turning educators into activists and also activist recruiters. And it's obvious what's going on. We've seen it. There's been all kinds of videos popping up over the last couple of weeks showing teachers taking their students on the front lines of these protests. I mean, that's why they need protection. Right? We need to protect them from evil ICE. We got to continue enabling them in their rights to apparently impede lawful federal operations. It's absolute insanity.
It's not okay. So we're making a movement. We're making a change.
You got to be out of your freaking mind to be putting these kids on the front lines. I mean, it's just baseline so unethical. These kids don't even have fully developed brains. They don't have worldviews, and yet you're encouraging them to take a stand on the front line for your idiotic worldview. It's just disgusting. And could you imagine if MAGA was doing the same thing? It'd be nothing. We'd be hearing nothing except for Hitler Youth, Hitler Youth, Hitler Youth. And what's sad is they're putting these kids in harm's way. I mean, a high school student was just involved in a violent confrontation with ICE officers, if I'm not mistaken. She was arrested just the other day. It's out of control. And I'm just thinking, are we really teaching this to the next generation? I mean, really? Is this really what we're doing now? I can't wrap my head around it. I can't accept it. I mean, for me, logically, fundamentally, partisan BS like this has no place in school in the first place. School should teach you how to think, not what to think. You should be taught the entire spectrum of ideology and then be allowed to make your own opinions. But instead, clearly what's happening here is indoctrination. You got these teachers' unions who are doing the bidding of the Democratic Party because, of course, left-wing power is entrenched. And so they're using these teachers' unions to clearly indoctrinate these kids to be their foot soldier mob, creating a generation of radical pawns. And it's not just the students. It's all the brainwashed masses, and there's damage to this stuff. I mean, there's human costs now associated. 2 people are dead, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, frankly, because of these calls to impede and, quote, protest ICE. It's beyond just turning America's children into their little mob. No, it's just the general risk that's now associated with fighting the Democrat cause on the streets. Democrats are turning people into fanatics, and they're causing a generally unsafe environment, but it's obvious they don't give a crap. I mean, case in point right over here, here's Hakeem Jeffries being questioned on the 1,300% increase in assaults on ICE officers.
Assaults against ICE officers have gone up over 1,300% this past year, from about 275 compared to 19 the year before. So there are some legitimate concerns about those agents being targeted. But your broader point about whether or not law enforcement should behave the same as other law enforcement is heard.
Yes, and we're going to continue, of course, to encourage the American people to exercise their constitutional rights, their freedom of assembly, and their freedom of speech, and their freedom of expression
peacefully.
Oh, well, you know, it just is what it is, I guess. What a disgusting response. I mean, just a real piece of work, man. But obviously, this is why the chaos continues, because Democrats are enabling it. They're using their power apparatus to keep pushing it forward and to keep producing more of it with the younger generations. And clearly, they don't give a crap about the damage that that causes, just like they didn't give a crap when they were pushing all the trans agenda nonsense, the amount of people who are getting wrapped up in it from a social contagion standpoint. They didn't give a crap about the irreparable harm that they were causing mostly to young girls who are getting confused by this stuff. Well, now they're doing the same thing, you know, basically motivating people to commit felonies, to go down the radical Antifa path when you're sending money to Democrats. Well, this is what you're funding. Just think about that for a second. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. Got more to watch.
Mayor Mamdani today presented his budget, and he focused on ways to close a more than $5 billion deficit in the next 2 years. He's calling for higher taxes on corporations and millionaires, and he wants the state to send the Big Apple more money. If Albany does not approve those ideas, he has a plan B. It is a 9.5% property tax hike on a $3 million residential units and more than 100,000 commercial buildings. He would also take money from the city's rainy day fund and other funds to make up the deficit. Here's Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett with more.
Facing a $5 billion budget deficit, Mayor Mamdani said the choices are stark.
The onus for resolving this crisis should not be placed on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers.
Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, repeated his call for higher taxes on millionaires and major corporations and returning more tax dollars from the state to the city.
If we do not go down the first path, the city will be forced down a second, more harmful path. Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within our own control. We would have to raise property taxes.
Mamdani is proposing a 9.5% property tax increase on more than 3 million residential apartments and over 100,000 commercial buildings. He would draw down $980 million from the city's rainy day fund and another $229 million from the retiree health benefits fund.
What we are announcing is a path of last resort, one that we do not want to pursue.
The mayor says there would be no cuts to city services and increased spending for snow removal, outreach to the homeless, and services for the mentally ill. But the city's property taxes haven't been raised in 23 years. Now is not the time, according to the council speaker and finance chair. The council believes there are additional areas of savings and revenue that deserve careful scrutiny. Queensborough President Donovan Richards.
Think about the senior citizens who's living on the margins already. We have a food insecurity issue. People are struggling out there, and this is a nonsense.
Then you're gonna raise their taxes.
Spending that isn't in New Yorkers' lives. That's where he should be focused now. Not increasing taxes, but decreasing unuseful spending.
Tonight, progressive council members like Lincoln Ressler are counting on the governor and state lawmakers to come through with the money.
And if we are unable to get it, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Governor Kathy Hochul has ruled out raising taxes. Tonight, the Democratic Socialists of America say not to raise taxes would be a declaration of war on Mamdani's affordability agenda. At City Hall, NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Crazy. Let's keep it moving.
News 3 reporter Cole Trinstead, and behind me is the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. If you go about 18 miles that way, this is what you may see, a semi-truck floating in the bay. While questions remain, the company the driver was apparently working for is now responding. Video taken by Travis Smar and shared with News 3 shows numerous emergency vehicles on the southbound side of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge just south of Fisherman's Island Sunday morning.
Looks like you're stationary on the shoal.
In audio between dispatchers and first responders at the scene, first responders describe what they're seeing.
It looks like the cab broke away.
So
right
he
where the
crashed,
trailer went off. I could see the diesel fuel.
went over the
The truck
bridge.
appears to belong to Purdue. In a statement Sunday afternoon, a company spokesperson confirmed the truck driver died and says the company is heartbroken. The statement goes on to
Oh my
say, our
God.
thoughts and deepest condolences are with his family, friends, and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. He had been a valued member of our team, and his loss will be deeply felt across our
Wow.
organization. We are cooperating fully with authorities as they continue their investigation. New details tonight. In 2023, News 3 covered the crash of a semi-truck on the bridge. What company the driver was working for was not released at the time. In that case,
Need
the
to do
Virginia
better-
Department of Motor Vehicles
better
says the
protection.
truck hit a curb and blew a tire before crashing into the water between the north and southbound lanes of the bridge.
Oh my
The cause
God.
of Sunday's crash remains under investigation. One southbound lane is expected to be closed until
Listen,
repairs
he
can be
could've,
made to the
like,
bridge.
swerved.
Cole
He
Grant,
probably, like-
GTKR News 3.
Something happened. He turned the wheel. He jerked it too hard, and the truck tipped over and fell into the water. Wow, that's crazy. All right, let's keep it moving.
People talking turkey, wild turkeys chasing a local delivery driver.
Yes.
Just this all on camera. Matt, what can you tell us? It was pretty wild video.
Absolutely there, Kara. And while the whole world is getting a few good chuckles regarding this delivery driver and those birds, folks who live in this condo complex, well, they tell us those turkeys are nothing new. Talk about a mad dash for this UPS delivery driver, dropping off packages in Brantford, sprinting away as two wild turkeys tail him. These gobblers giving chase.
I was on the phone with my best friend and I was like, I think that somebody's fighting outside. And then I went to go look and it was the turkey guy fighting with the turkeys. The UPS guy, I call him the turkey guy now.
Hindi Jaffe noticed the commotion Friday afternoon and immediately started recording. The driver runing to make his deliveries, dashing back to his truck to beat the birds. Talking to
Damn.
himself and even the turkeys at one point, telling them to bounce inside. We're told wild turkeys can become more aggressive as they approach the spring, which is their breeding season.
It's the
And
breeding
as for
season,
those who
it's
live in this
mating season.
complex, Hindi tells us the birds are well known, following cars and even causing traffic to back up.
They come back like after Thanksgiving every year. It's the weirdest thing. They stop people from driving. The turkeys are there.
And so while the turkeys are known here in this neighborhood for sort of being around and causing some traffic issues, DEP says there are some tips you can use if you encounter some aggressive birds. That part of the story comes to
I know a remedy. I don't know a lot of people are gonna like my remedy, but I'm just saying that was close to Thanksgiving and they came back. This could have been Christmas turkeys. It could have been Christmas and New Year's turkeys because there's two. They would have tasted so good too. Oh no. All right, let's go over and continue. Ooh, liberal hive mind again. Check this out.
Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, holy frickin' moly, this is quite the bombshell. You know, we got another shocking document that just dropped, another leak of sorts, that for some reason isn't really even making headline news. No, it's just a couple people posting it on social media, but it should be a whole lot bigger than that because holy frickin' moly, I mean, this is bad. And again, you know, it's more proof to what we've been saying that what the Democrats engage in, what they do, it's all engineered, it's all coordinated, especially these anti-ICE riots that they pretend is just a groundswell outrage. It's loud resistance, standing up against the fascist Trump, when in reality it's all well funded and coordinated, and now we're learning just how widespread that is, because it's not just Reid Hoffman, it's not just George Soros and his puppet organizations. No, let's add the teachers unions to the list. Exactly as I've been saying, the Democrats are using their connections, they're using their position controlling public schools and teachers unions to essentially create an army of left-wing street-level activists, foot soldiers. In other words, they're trying to turn America's kids into their next generation of revolutionaries. Kind of reminds me of a certain German leader in 1940s who did a little bit of a similar thing, huh? Well, let me show you guys exactly what's going on with this explosive finding. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this document here. Let's read it. This is from the NEA. That's the National Education Association. Well, apparently this is a memo that they passed to their members. And just listen to this crap. New business item 63 3 adopted. NEA opposes Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE kidnapping of student leaders and supports students' rights to organize against ICE raids and deportations. Now, first of all, you can sense the delusion in that statement. Kidnapping of student leaders? What are you even on about? But then the next line gives it away. Quote, we support students' rights to organize against ICE raids and deportations. I mean, is that an open admission? And what right do you have to organize against federal operations? I mean, protests, sure. And this is purposely vague language, but essentially the way I'm reading it is our students have the right to impede law enforcement and stop ICE raids and deportations. You know, again, it's always with this freaking leftist doublespeak. They make it seem as if what they're doing is, oh, we're just protecting people's rights. But this thing is oozing of far left fucking schizophrenia. We must all rise together against Donald Glorf, who is apparently kidnapping our student leaders. Oh, Lord. It goes on, we will protect our students' rights to free speech and defend their right to dissent and organize against Trump's policies, including attacks against LGBTQ plus students and against racism. Oh, okay. We will mobilize our students and enable them to fight the fascist agenda of Donald Glorf and I guess his generally defined racism. I mean, who are the pink-haired freaks writing this stuff? They write, NEA will use existing media platforms to organize and join actions with other unions, communities, immigrant rights, and civil rights organizations in support of defending students' right to protest. Cost implications. This item cannot be accomplished with current staff and resources under the 2025-2026 Modified Strategic Plan budget. It would cost an additional $32.5 $1,000. Just freaking Looney Tunes land. And it goes to show, you know, these people have one job. It's called educating the masses, but clearly they're more focused on indoctrinating the masses. They want to use their army of teachers to push back against the Trump administration and obviously, by extension, continue to use kids as their foot soldiers. And all of this, of course, comes right downstream from the Democrat Party. They're not fighting fascism. They're fighting the Trump agenda and using every Democrat resource available. In this case, teachers' unions. They're simply an extension of Democrat federal power. And now it appears they're turning educators into activists and also activist recruiters. And it's obvious what's going on. We've seen it. There's been all kinds of videos popping up over the last couple of weeks showing teachers taking their students on the front lines of these protests. I mean, that's why they need protecting, right? We need to protect them from evil ICE. We got to continue enabling them in their rights to apparently impede lawful federal operations. It's absolute insanity.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's crazy. These kids are not safe on the sidewalk doing this stuff.
It's not okay. So we're making a movement. We're making a change.
You got to be out of your freaking mind to be putting these kids on the front lines. I mean, it's just baseline so unethical. These kids don't even have fully developed brains. They don't have worldviews, and yet you're encouraging them to take a stand on the front line for your idiotic worldview. It's just disgusting. And could you imagine if MAGA was doing the same thing? It'd be nothing. We'd be hearing nothing except for Hitler Youth, Hitler Youth, Hitler Youth. And what's sad is they're putting these kids in harm's way. I mean, a high school student was just involved in a violent confrontation with ICE officers, if I'm not mistaken, and she was arrested just the other day. It's out of control. And I'm just thinking, you know, are we really teaching this to the next generation? I mean, really? Is this really what we're doing now? I can't wrap my head around it. I can't accept it. I mean, for me, logically, fundamentally, partisan BS like this has no place in school in the first place. School should teach you how to think, not what to think. You should be taught the entire spectrum of ideology and then be allowed to make your own opinions. But instead, clearly what's happening here is indoctrination. You got these teachers' unions who are doing the bidding of the Democratic Party because, of course, left-wing power is entrenched. And so they're using these teachers' unions to clearly indoctrinate these kids to be their foot soldier mob, creating a generation of radical pawns. And it's not just the students, it's all the brainwashed masses. And there's damage to this stuff. I mean, there's human costs now associated. 2 people are dead, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, frankly, because of these calls to impede and, quote, protest ICE. You know, it's beyond just turning America's children into their little mob. No, it's just the general risk that's now associated with fighting the Democrat cause on the streets. Democrats are turning people into fanatics, and they're causing a generally unsafe environment, but it's obvious they don't give a crap. I mean, case in point right over here, here's Hakeem Jeffries being questioned on the 1,300% increase in assaults on ICE officers.
Assaults against ICE officers have gone up over 1,300% this past year, from about 275 compared to 19 the year before. So there are some legitimate concerns about those agents being targeted. But your broader point about whether or not law enforcement should behave the same as other law enforcement is heard.
Yes, and we're going to continue, of course, to encourage the American people to exercise their constitutional rights, their freedom of assembly, and their freedom of speech, and their freedom of expression peacefully.
Oh, well, you know, it just is what it is, I guess. What a disgusting response. I mean, just a real piece of work, man. But obviously, this is why the chaos continues, because Democrats are enabling it. They're using their power apparatus to keep pushing it forward and to keep producing more of it with the younger generations. And clearly, they don't give a crap about the damage that causes, just like they didn't give a crap when they were pushing all the trans agenda nonsense, the amount of people who are getting wrapped up in it from a social contagion standpoint. They didn't give a crap about the irreparable harm that they were causing mostly to young girls who are getting confused by this stuff. Well, now they're doing the same thing, you know, basically motivating people to commit felonies, to go down the radical Antifa path when you're sending money to Democrats. Well, this is what you're funding. Just think about that for a second. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right. Let's keep it moving. See what this is about.
Live from
Make it nice and big.
KCRA 3 News. We begin with breaking news.
That breaking news is in Nevada County. 16 backcountry skiers involved in a Sierra avalanche today, and the search is underway right now for 10 who are still missing 4.5 hours later.
The sheriff's office says the avalanche was reported near the Castle Peak area. That was around 11:30 this morning. Deputies, the search and rescue team, and other agencies are all looking for those missing skiers. At least 6 of the 16 survived. They remain at the avalanche site. The group consisted of 4 ski guides and 12 clients. Earlier in the day, the Sierra Avalanche Center issued an avalanche warning for parts of that area, and that warning lasts until tomorrow morning.
All right, let's get to Captain Russell Green with the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. We have a lot of questions about this. How did you hear about this avalanche first?
We were notified by the company that was providing the ski tour, as well as some other emergency beacons. They were activated.
So they had beacons that went off. The company notified you, but is this something that normally happens in a storm like this, where backcountry skiers head out when we have all this fresh powder on the ground?
People go out and use the backcountry at all times. We advise against it, obviously, but I wouldn't say that it's uncommon, not that it was a wise choice.
But so for a company, I mean, I understand individuals will do that, but for a company to take a group of clients out in these conditions, especially when there was already a warning, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, I don't think it was a wise choice, but we don't know all the details yet. So preliminary, I would say that we discourage it. How this happened will be determined.
All right, so let's talk about the operation underway. Highly skilled rescue teams are out there right now. 46 first responders are involved in the last update you guys just put out. How are they reaching the site, and what are the conditions like out there right now?
Well, right now, the interstate's closed because of zero visibility. They're reaching the site. We're sending rescue workers in from a couple different locations so that we can attempt to get in there. It's going to be slow going, where you have brought in snowcats. We have snowmobilers on standby. We have individuals on skis. So we have several different ways that people are attempting to get in there. It's just going to be a slow, tedious process, because they also have to be very careful accessing the area due to the fact that the avalanche danger is still very high.
So you say attempting at this point. So at this point, the rescuers, your teams, they have not made it out there.
They're still in the process of getting to the actual site. They've deployed, but yeah, they have not made it to the avalanche site yet.
That's really crazy.
But you're in contact with them. I guess, I mean, that's the thing I've been worrying about all day, Curtis, especially. It's like you go out there, but now these rescue people have to, go out there and try and find you, put themselves in harm's way, and they still haven't been able to get there. So we know at least 6 people survived, but they're still there because there's really no way for them to come out yet, right?
Right. There's no quick way for them to come out. So they're having to wait there. And like I said, they have emergency beacons, some of them that communicate, via text. So we're in contact with them and doing our best to get in there.
And I wanted to know, what has the communication been like? What are they telling you from out there where this happened?
That's crazy.
They're doing their best they can. They have taken refuge in an area. They have made up a makeshift, shelter with a tarp, and doing everything they can to survive and wait for rescue.
All right, we do know we had guides who are out there. We also had the customers who are along. Do we know if the guides were caught in the avalanche, or if the guides are the people who are safe at this point and it's the customers who are caught in the avalanche?
At this time, we're on the process of notifying the family members of everybody involved, so I don't want to release that information. We do know that some of that information, but we're not going to release it to the public quite yet.
Okay, do you know the name of the company?
I do know the name of the company. The company is, I think it's Black Bear. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I don't have that readily available. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll check in with you. We'll get that a bit later on, but we appreciate the information, and we'll check back in with you throughout the night. But as he's telling us, they're still working to get out to the scene some 4.5 hours later after this avalanche was first reported.
And like you said, it's just not a good idea to go out on a day like this, because not only do you endanger yourself, you're now endangering the people who are trying to get to you and rescue you.
Right.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We appreciate your time and your efforts in trying to get to these people. This is actually the same area a snowmobiler was found dead last month following another avalanche. 42-year-old Chris Thomason of Oregon was with 4 other people near Johnson and Castle Peaks. When that avalanche happened, he was found buried under the snow minutes later, but died from his injury.
Oh, Lord. That means these individuals are not in good shape. All right, let's keep it moving.
The River George Washington, called the nation's river, is tonight off limits and contaminated after a 60-year-old sewage line in Maryland broke open last month, spewing more than 240 million gallons of raw waste into the river. The same river that flows past the Kennedy Center and the Lincoln Memorial, and used by boaters, kayakers, high school and college rowing teams.
So you can see some of the toilet paper and the sewage up on the banks there.
Yeah.
Riverkeeper Dean Nalyokes says the stench and environmental damage are staggering, with E. coli levels more than 10,000 times above EPA quality standards at the time of the spill. While slowly coming down, health experts warn no one should be boating, fishing, or even touching the Potomac. Is drinking water at all affected here?
No, from day one, drinking water has never been impacted by this.
But massive boulders that collapsed into the 6-foot wide pipe are delaying the repairs. Meanwhile, President Trump has blamed Maryland's Democratic Governor Wes Moore for gross mismanagement, while Moore fired back, saying the pipe was federally built and regulated, and the Trump EPA has been slow to respond. The fear now, the Potomac may not be safe for months. You used to swim right here?
Who the hell's doing that shit?
Would you swim in here again?
Not for
Hell no.
DC Water expects to have the immediate
You're
return
gonna swim in that
by
shit.
mid-March, but overhauling the entire line could take at least 9 months. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and
Yeah,
remember,
that's
stay
crazy.
updated on breaking
9
news and top
months? It's gonna be
stories
more
on
than
the
that.
NBC.
It's gonna be more than that. That's an operation that's gonna take a long while. All right, let's keep it moving.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel
Liberal
solely
Hive
focused on
Mind.
exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, we live in a different world, it seems. I guess even in a room that you'd expect to be full of globalist losers, well, nowadays, sometimes you just get a random gem, you get a random base dude introduced into the mix. I guess that's the spoils of war in this case. That's the victory that we were afforded beyond just the Trump electoral victory. Things have just changed so considerably. You know, just like at CNN, how we now have Scott Jennings at the table, it appears we have the same thing at these globalist conferences. No longer are people scared to say the truth. And well, I guess the other side has kind of realized that they can no longer censor the truth, and they have to at least let it breathe a little bit. You know, we're not yet dominating, we're not yet equal, but at least we have some sort of representation nowadays. At least some people have been able to siege the gates. And well, that's pretty much the left's worst nightmare, because, you know, all these big left-wing politicians, Hillary Clinton in this case, they used to get to go to these globalist circle jerk events and basically just spew their nonsense unimpeded. But no longer is that the case. No, I guess we gotta revive that old segment of, oh, these leftoids can't go anywhere anymore. In this case, it's Hillary Clinton, who got absolutely freaking roasted by a based Czech politician to her freaking face. And oh boy, you could sense just how frustrating that was for Hillary Clinton. If I had to give this Czech politician any advice, I'd say, yeah, maybe go on full lockdown. We all know what happens to people who cross the Clintons. But anyways, I got a clip to show you guys, and we also got to talk about the general theme behind the conversation. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so like I said, I don't think Hillary Clinton should get away with it anymore. Finally, we've got some pushback on these absolute monumental morons.
None of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself.
First, I think you really don't like him.
You know, that is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something that, for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So, you know, we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
I think there are two genders. So, but some of us.
Shut up, Hillary.
There is more than one, or more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something that went too far.
But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders? Is that what you're worried about?
Can I please finish my point?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that makes you nervous. I'm really sorry.
He's
for
a
that.
prime minister.
Absolutely perfect. And I think really that needed to be said, especially watching these globalist events. There had to be some pushback against the alarmism, reactionary BS. And it's nice to see that I think people are getting sick of it. It's very simple. People are sick of three letters.
Makes her powerful.
BS, the Trump derangement syndrome. Do you have anything else? You know, we get it. You hate Donald Trump, but do you freaking theatric losers have anything else? Any substance beyond that? Every freaking meeting. Oh, existential crisis that is Donald Gore. These people are so annoying. If it wasn't the climate, the climate's gonna kill everyone. Now it's, oh my God, Donald Trump will kill everyone. You people have lost the frickin' plot. And really, Trump is what took it overboard. The general anti-Trumpism that kind of defines left-wing politics. It appears now across the Western world. It's just so sickening. And I'm not the only one who's sick of it. No, their own party members are sick of it. John Fetterman, of course, being the only one who's got the balls to say it, but I don't think he's the only one. Let's be honest.
I'm not defending the president, but I will say he hasn't defied a single court order yet. He hasn't. And there was the big freak out that he was going to run in 28. And I'm like, no, he's not going to run. That's not going to happen. And now, of course, he's not going to run.
What's your relationship with him like now?
I wouldn't, whatever. But my point, it's like, if I have something to say, it's not going to be, in an insult. It's not going to be extreme things. When you have members of Congress calling him a piece of shit and things crazy, it's like, you just don't, I'll always talk and speak, with respect, because I really want to find a way forward to wins in Pennsylvania. And that's not going to change. And I know some people just want the professional wrestling kind of thing. I know what pays the bills. Can you call someone a piece of shit? Can now put that in an email? Can you chip in $10 to help me smash the oligarchy or whatever?
And you got to admit, John Fetterman is really built different in a lot of ways. I know Democrats want to unseat him, but this guy's so freaking authentic. I think it's going to be hard to beat him. I think independents are really going to rally behind him. And on this topic, once again, he's right. And I could say that even though I disagree with John Fetterman and most of his politics. But one thing's for sure, I got to give it to him. This man is a true patriot because time and time again, he proves that he's willing to say what he actually believes is right for the country rather than simply falling in line with the idiotic partisan divide that Democrats are constantly playing, pushing everything to the extreme. This guy does not want to engage in this garbage politics that Democrats have created. And I hope more people have the balls to say it. I hope less and less people allow the Democrats to continue getting away with this stuff, just like we saw on the world stage with Hillary Clinton. And it's not that I necessarily want to help Democrats and their problems, but really, if you think about it, the far left is everyone's problem at this point. This ideology, this cancerous Karenhood, it's got to be repelled. It's got to be abolished. And the only way that happens is if Democrats do that. It's time to bring back some sense of normalcy, to actually be able to have productive policy dialogue and basic cooperation instead of this constant eye busting out of your freaking eyeballs, busting out of your head leftist lunacy that is just impossible to work with. I think taxes are too high. Did you just say you hate black people? I mean, it's unbelievable. We can't have a conversation about normal policy. The education system is funding. We need a different system. Did you just say you want to put all immigrants into gulags? You have a simple point of view, and the left reacts as if you're the second coming of Mussolini. And in so doing, they've created this culture of endless sabotage. You cannot work with these people. It's just hit Donald Trump with criminal cases, shut down the government, refuse to sign any legislation. And it's frustrating because it only goes one way. When Joe Biden was in office, the GOP was willing to, find compromises. In many cases, I thought they were just weak, and you just have rhino Republicans who basically enabled the Democrat agenda back then. But there wasn't the same kind of threats of shutdown and sabotage. And so Democrats were able to pass their agenda mostly through. And boy, did they love singing the tune of bipartisan legislation. Ooh, Joe Biden's cookie for toddlers bill and his eyeballs for the blind bill, his ending world poverty bill. Joe Biden fixes all with the sign of an auto pen. But in the era of Trump, the notion of bipartisan legislation, the notion of coming to the table to pass, something as basic as voter ID mandates, which is wildly supported by the American people. Never. Jim Crow 2.0. Shut down the government. They're absolute freaking crackheads. What else am I supposed to say? They're stand-up human beings. Swell diplomats, swell politicians, great negotiators, great partners. No, they're freaking crackheads. You cannot have a productive conversation with googly-eyed AOC. Her voter base thinks you're the freaking devil incarnate, and her only intention is to attack and slander and destroy you. That's it. You're the root of all evil. Why would they compromise? It's crazy. And you know what? It's nice to see someone at these events finally speak some truth. In a world of lies, in a world of hysteria, it's just nice to sometimes be subjected to honesty, to basic truth telling. And I guess we got a little taste of it here. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
He's like a president of his country, and he put her in her place, and that was awesome. And here we are with the last video of the night, hopefully. Tyson de la Cruz.
They came here because they knew and understood that Minnesota was a place where taxpayer money could be taken with little risk and few consequences.
America, two men from Philadelphia just pled guilty to flying to Minnesota, earning $3.5 million from a homeless housing program.
According to the Department of Justice, about $3.5 million. Two men pleading guilty.
They were using AI, including ChatGPT, to create fake records when insurance companies started asking questions. This is the first federal case charging criminals with using artificial intelligence to commit healthcare fraud.
How is the Minnesota state government, the executive branch in particular, not implicated or complicit in allowing fraud to be rampant?
What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me show you how Minnesota became America's fraud tourist destination while Timmy Tampon Walls pretended everything else was fine. Anthony Jefferson and Lester Brown, both from Philadelphia, heard that Minnesota's housing stabilization service program was easy cash, easy money. So they flew to Minneapolis, rented an office space, and started marketing themselves as the housing guys.
Federal prosecutors call them fraud tourists.
two men, both from Philly, accused of traveling here to Minnesota to exploit holes in the state's social service programs in order to line their own pockets.
Here's how this scam worked. They deliberately targeted shelters and Section 8 housing to enroll individuals in Minnesota's Housing Stabilization Services program. This is a Medicaid benefit designed to help people with disabilities, mental illness, and substance abuse disorders find and maintain housing. It is a good program in theory, but Jefferson and Brown turned it into a cash machine. They enrolled 230 beneficiaries through inflated and fraudulent billing. They billed Medicaid for services that were obviously never actually provided. And when insurance companies started asking questions, started peeping around the corner, they used ChatGPT and other AI tools to create fake records and cover their tracks.
According to the DOJ, is that this represents the first charges involving the use of artificial intelligence to further a fraud scheme targeting healthcare programs in Minnesota, with the two fraudsters concealing the scam by using AI, including ChatGPT.
They weren't just stealing money, they were using AI, cutting-edge technology, to hide the theft. And Minnesota's oversight was so weak that they got away with $3.5 million before anybody caught them. Now, let me show you Minnesota's response to this fraud. We know what it is because it perfectly illustrates how Democrat-run states handle corruption. Instead of prosecuting the fraud earlier, instead of implementing basic oversight, Minnesota just shut down the entire Housing Stabilization Service program because the fraud had become so widespread. The program was designed to help seniors, people, again, with mental illness, substance abuse disorders, things like that. Legitimate people needed help finding particular housing. But the fraud got so bad after several years of explosive growth that the state just shut it down. So now people who actually needed the program are out of luck because Minnesota couldn't be bothered to prosecute the fraud when it was actually happening. And here's what makes this even more infuriating. Jefferson and Brown admitted their scheme topped $3.5 million. But that's just one operation. How many other quote unquote fraud tourists came to Minnesota, stole millions of dollars and never got caught? Because federal prosecutors made it clear these guys came to Minnesota specifically because they knew it was easy money, easy cash with little risk. And watch this. One of the supporters of Lester Brown showed up at the courthouse and defended his actions.
Nobody's been perfect. So mistakes happen. And we just hope God will forgive us.
Why did you pick Minnesota? Why here?
Mistakes happen. That's how she describes it. $3.5 million in Medicaid fraud. Not a crime, not theft, mistakes, she says. She claims she doesn't know why they picked Minnesota, but federal prosecutors know exactly why. Because Minnesota made it easy. Now, let me show you what happens to fraud tourists when they finally get caught, because the consequences here tell you everything why this keeps happening. Jefferson and Brown are looking at between 3.5 to 6.5 years in federal prison. 3 to 6 years in federal prison for stealing $3.5 million. Let's do the math real quick. If they serve the maximum sentence of 6.5 years, they stole $530,000 a year they'll spend in prison. If they serve a minimum of 3.5 years, that's $1 million per year in prison. And that's assuming that they don't get out early for good behavior or serve their time in some minimum security facility. But here's what really matters. They have to return the money, right? Wrong. There was absolutely no mention in any of the reports about restitutions. No mention that they'll be having to pay back the $3.5 million that they stole, because they can't. It's absolutely impossible. They'll serve a few years, get out, and potentially keep whatever money they didn't spend. And remember, this case only happened because somebody finally investigated. How many other fraud tourists, so-called fraud tourists, came to Minnesota, stole a bunch of money, and flew back to Philadelphia or wherever they came from without even getting caught? Because that is the pattern federal prosecutors described. People heard Minnesota was easy cash, easy money, so they traveled there specifically to commit fraud.
These defendants came here not to enjoy our lakes, our beautiful summers, or our warm people. They came here because they knew and understood that Minnesota was a place where taxpayer money could be taken with
That
little
got
risk
suckered.
and few consequences.
And you know what? They're right. Little risk, few consequences.
Yeah.
These people stole $3.5 million,
Damn.
and they're looking at maybe 6.5 years in prison. That's a better return on investment
Yeah.
than most legitimate businesses. Now, let me connect this fraud story to what's happening with ICE in Minnesota, because it's all part of the same pattern of Minnesota finally being forced to cooperate after years of protecting criminals.
We will draw down 700 people affected today.
It's thanks to efforts by local law enforcement, Homan says, who agreed to cooperate and turn over arrested immigrants.
But here's why local law enforcement finally started cooperating. Counties that refused to work with ICE for years suddenly started honoring immigration detainers. Sheriffs who Tim Walz told to ignore federal law started turning over arrested illegals to ICE. And Homan is pulling out agents because the mission succeeded. 2,000 ICE agents are still in Minnesota. That's still 25 times more than the normal 80 agents. But Homan is reducing the force because Minnesota counties are now doing what they should have been doing all along, cooperating with federal law enforcement. And here's the connection to the fraud tourist story. Minnesota became a magnet for criminals, whether they're fraud tourists from Philadelphia or illegal immigrants committing crimes, because the state refused to enforce law. Tim Walz created an environment where criminals knew they could operate with little or few consequences. And now that federal pressure has forced Minnesota to change, the criminals are getting caught and federal agents can leave. Now, let me show you the most damning part of this entire story, because a Minnesota mayor just went on Fox News and said what everybody's been thinking this entire time.
It's crazy how there's been no one that's been so-called implicated when whistleblowers of fraud have lost their jobs and been fired by the state of Minnesota. I mean, if we're firing people that are reporting fraud, how is the Minnesota state government, the executive branch in particular, not implicated or complicit in allowing fraud to be rampant?
Listen to what he's saying. Whistleblowers who reported fraud lost their job and were fired by the state of Minnesota. So people trying to stop the fraud got punished, while people committing the fraud kept operating. The mayor is asking some obvious questions here. How is Minnesota's state government not complicit in allowing fraud to be rampant?
When fraud or mismanagement happens at higher levels and is allowed to continue unchecked, the consequences are pushed downstream. Every dollar lost to waste, fraud, and mismanagement is a dollar that can't go to roads, public safety, housing, or tax relief.
So while fraud tourists from Philadelphia are still in $3.5 million, Minnesota taxpayers were getting less services and higher taxes to make up the difference.
You know, it's just another blame game by the executive branch. You know, I have a family friend right here in Cross Lake who knows of a good friend who lost their job for reporting fraud at the state 5 years ago. So this goes back a long time that the state of Minnesota knew exactly what was going on, was trying to cover it up.
Minnesota has been covering up fraud for at least 5 years while firing people who tried to expose it. And remember what the federal prosecutor said about the fraud tourists that came to Minnesota, because they absolutely knew it was a place where taxpayer money could be taken with little and few consequences. How do they know that? Because word gets around the criminal circles. When a state fires a whistleblower and protects fraudsters, criminals obviously notice this, and they come from Philadelphia to steal millions and millions of dollars. America, 2 fraud tourists from Philadelphia just pled guilty to stealing $3.5 million from Minnesota and billing Medicaid for services that never happened. They use ChatGPT and other AI platforms to create fake records when insurance companies started asking questions. The first federal case charging criminals with using AI to commit healthcare fraud. Federal prosecutors said these fraud tourists specifically targeted Minnesota because they knew it was a place where they can get easy cash with little consequences. And they were right. Whistleblowers who reported the fraud got fired. Now Tom Homan is pulling 700 ICE agents out of Minnesota because counties finally started cooperating after years of protecting criminals. But a Minnesota mayor just said it's absolutely crazy that nobody in the state government has been held accountable for the fraud that's been happening for at least 5 years. Minnesota became America's first fraud tourist destination because Timmy Tampon Walsh created an environment where criminals knew they could operate with little risk. And now that federal pressure forces the state to change. Prosecutors are quitting, and hopefully the fraud stops. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Tyson, what I think these guys should be spending more time in jail instead of being let loose. What, 3-6 years? What type of bullshit is that? What type of shit is that you get in trouble and your accountability is only 3 to 6 years in jail, and you're able to keep, what was it, 3-point-something million? 3.5 million? It's a lot of money. And to sit behind jail waiting for that money, 3 years, they get out, they're not paying anything back. So they're keeping that money, or they already shipped that money somewhere. Weird times for sure. Weird times. I'll see if if there was any breaking news or anything. It's nothing crazy. Talking about the war fighters moving to Iran despite progress in U.S. nuclear talks. So, yeah, we're going through the nuclear talks and stuff, but we're like not giving a fuck. And I'm telling you, they're gonna do something to Iran. They're gonna have to put them out once and for all. They're gonna do it right. They'll go half-ass on the B-2 bombers. If you're gonna use all our B-2 bombers and hit them hard, and if they throw a nuclear weapon towards Israel or to anyone in the area, then hit them with an atomic weapon. And then the world will be like, oh, fuck. It's like, oh, you forgot about this? China, pay attention. Japan, we're sorry. Remember, this happened to you twice. Pay attention. And destroyed the Ayatollah. And that's it. That's the end. But we'll be talking more about that throughout the week. So tomorrow I'll be back. I'll come back on here. I gotta leave because I got to go to sleep early tonight. Have a good rest. I gotta be up at 6 a.m. Actually, like 5:45, to get ready and go and do the MRI in the morning. I got a very early morning appointment. I'm like the first patient. I'm the first patient. I'm the 7 o'clock. I got to be there. My appointment is for 7:30, but they tell me to get there at 7 so that way I can change because I got to wear a gown. And then we just do the MRI on the knee, and then we're going to see what's the damage and then see what we're going to do. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, everyone. I truly appreciate it. For everyone, the ones who come and rewatch, I truly appreciate you guys too. I still do this daily. I don't know what's gonna happen. If I do have to have the surgery, then I will have to figure out what time, or if I'm gonna be able to do a show. I don't think so. I think in the beginning I would try to figure it out. I would definitely have to try and maybe do some rearrangements and try to figure to do it with comfort, to do what I do with comfort. And but I know I'm gonna have to be off of here for a little bit to recuperate, because it's not an easy surgery. I've had it done before on my right knee, and that took a good while to get back. Easily, it took 6 months to recover from that, because it was the ACL and the meniscus, and they had to like repair that knee. So, and the surgeon who did it did a great job. He did a great job on my right knee. Now my left knee, this one's like, when you have all four good tires, and then that one fucking tire is fucking like getting on your fucking nerves. Well, that's the fucking left leg, the left knee. It attacks me at night. So when I'm sleeping and I'm just laying, I'm sleeping, I have a cushion that I always sleep between my legs. I always have, I don't know if you do, let me know if you do, or you put a pillow between your legs. I have to, because my knees, I don't like them to hit each other at night. So, and it's more comfortable for me. And it's good for your back too, from what I heard, when you put the pillow between your legs and you sleep like on your side. It's good for your spine alignment. But it attacked me last night. It did a weird twitching feeling inside, like sharp pain, and I woke up in the middle of my sleep, and my knee was just hurting, and then it went away, and then I went back to sleep. So I hope tonight we don't have a repeat. I'm trying to get to bed early so I could get this MRI done, and then from there, that's when more appointments are going to be happening. I'm going to have to see a surgeon, and then come up when they want to do the surgery. If they do it right away, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be ready for May. Say it's February. No, it'll be 3 months. It'll be even only 2 months going into my third month. I don't think I'll be ready to go anywhere, because they want me to go down to Florida for my niece's birthday. Well, I want to go down to be with her, but if I do the knee surgery, I don't think I'll be able to, because I'll be like 2 months into my recuperation, and I probably still won't be walking properly, and I can't use canes because of my neck injury, so I have to be on a wheelchair. So that's gonna fucking suck. I'm telling you, me in a wheelchair. I'll be in the hallway chilling. Like fucking shit, man. Just looking, just seeing the future, seeing what I'm gonna be going through. The world is gonna be, I think we're gonna be awakened one day with a rude awakening. And we're gonna turn on our systems, and then we're gonna realize that we're at a war with Iran. And not only that, but Iran will shoot missiles at Israel. And if they're gonna go out, they're gonna go out with a bang. Okay. So what they have to lose but their lives, because at this point, I don't think they even give a fuck. And will Iran go back to their golden days? Man, that would be beautiful to see again, man. Iran back to the golden days. Because Iran had really good, like, back in the like 40s, 50s, 60s, even the 70s. It was nice. It was a very beautiful place. And then when all this crazy shit started happening at the end of the 70s into the 80s, it went like ass backwards. You know, and then you got opportunistics that went in there and just wreaked havoc. And now we're trying to get those opportunistics out. But yeah, I got a lot of thinking to do, because if I'm going to have the surgery, then there's things I gotta get arranged. So I gotta figure shit out. I just gotta figure some shit out. I know they'll end up sending me everyone that I need anyways. I'll have help. So I'll be fine. Medically wise, everything, I should be fine. They'll send a nurse here and they'll check on me and stuff, and check the knee, and then they'll bring my physical therapist will come here to do physical therapy here in my home. And then once I'm like good enough to get in a car, because it's gonna take a while for me to get in a car again. You know, it's gonna take a while. When they bring me here, I probably gonna have to be on like in a medical ambulance to be brought back here, because I can't use crutches. I wish I could, but my neck is fucked up and my shoulders are fucked up, so I can't use crutches. And I can't walk with that leg. I won't be able to. So we'll see. Well, you guys are gonna see me. You guys will see me. I'll come out here with my pain and everything. I'm like, I'm still here. Look at my fucking leg. Take a picture and put it on my thumbnail. Put the leg back here. I'll put the leg back here, and then I'll have it say "My mind over your matter" on the leg. Oh no. But I hope everyone is having a good night. I'm not leaving the show yet because I started smoking this. And you know the rules. Once you start smoking, the show doesn't stop rolling. So you gotta smoke up. I tend to smoke to a show. I wanted to stop early, but I'm not really sleepy yet. I think by 10:30 I'll start getting sleepy. My medicine works super slow. They do. That's the only part about pharmaceutical medicines. They're very slow to execute as far as to activate the sleep. Because I take my medicine around 8:30 and I'm not sleepy, and maybe like 12 o'clock. And then I'll upload a video, one of my Pokemon videos, and then not many people will watch it, and then I have to like delete it and then re-download it. I'm kind of figuring the algorithm and the timing and when it's the best time to upload shorts. And I've noticed like when uploading overnight, it's not really good. Like if you upload between like 6, I would say like 3 and 7 p.m. is a good time to upload videos. But overnight, I don't know why, but the algorithm it's so funny. I was trying to see, and I was looking in the shorts in the app, because it tells you like who's watching from where. I have people from Indonesia. I have Indonesian people and Japanese people watching my Pokemon openings. So to the Indonesian people and the Japanese people, thank you very much. I truly appreciate you guys. And the majority of the rest are from the United States of America. So the United States of America gets the gold, Japan gets the silver, and Indonesia, you get the bronze. But you know what? You guys are all winners. I appreciate you so much for watching my Pokemon shorts. I do really good little like videos at the end. I let AI take over, and I put in what I wanted to do, and it happens, and I do like a little video. and I want people to enjoy it. That's the fun of Pokemon, and be a creator like me. Like I want to at least get to 1,000 subscribers, right? I'm only about 3 subscribers away from 550, I believe. I think I'm 5. Hold on, I have to check. Let me check. Okay, view your channel. Okay, I am at, yeah. So I'm at 547 right now. So I'm 3 away from 550. If I get to 550, I will open up one of the Pokemon. I'll do a video and I'll open an Ascended Heroes. I'll open up one of the Ascended Heroes. And then we'll let the people here pick which one to open to make it more fun. So they need to come on to and watch the live show. I know I talk like a lot of stuff I do on here. It's a lot of politics lately. It's been a lot of like reviewing the current events, because these are current events. So these are things that are going on in our here in the world, and I'm happy that they made Hillary Clinton like an idiot. Like, even the lady had to tell Hillary, like, let him speak. Like, I don't know how you do it in America, but we don't interrupt people while they're speaking. Even if you don't like it, you have to let him speak. He is a prime minister. He is of importance to the world. Hillary, you are not. What importance do you have, and why are you like there? You're not even working for the government. You're not a part of our government. Like, you're a civilian. So why are you using your name and title and pushing yourself into the spotlight? You know what I mean? To claim her Trump derangement syndrome. To say I have TDS. Even the prime minister had to tell, like I know you don't like him and so forth, but I'm just gonna give it the real, and I'm gonna say it. And she didn't like it, and she kept cutting him off and cutting his answers off. Like his response is like, "This is not how we do it here." So like, can we escort this bitch out, because she's not even of importance? She's like, can we have at least had like JD Vance here? Could we have like someone with fucking some kind of intelligence? Like this bitch, all she is, she's just hate, full of hate, and she just doesn't like Trump. We all understand that, but like, we don't like you either. She would have had a fucking aneurysm. That bitch would have lost another shoe. Her ass would have been Cinderella Part 2. Because remember Part 1, she lost her slipper at the 9/11 memorial in New York City in 2020. Was it in 2026? No, it was in 2015, I believe. Was it in 2015? I think when Trump and Hillary went to the 9/11 memorial and in New York City, and then Hillary had an episode, like she started malfunctioning. She did the malfunctioning. She was like, and then her shoe went like Cinderella, got left behind. She was like, they threw her ass in the van. They threw her ass in the van, and a few hours later, she comes out of Chelsea's house to the cameras to her microphones and letting everyone know that she's okay. I'm okay. But bitch, you're malfunctioning. I saw your malfunction. Bitch, you left that your shoe like Cinderella. Part 2, I'm telling you, part 2 is gonna happen again. Like Hillary Clinton, like she has. That's why, to be honest with you, like these old menopause old ladies are not really like good for presidential material. I mean, like for if she decides to run for president, we wouldn't want to go backwards, do we? I mean, we were doing so good moving forward. I feel like with Trump, we're progressing. You know, we're not stuck on a loop. Not like how the Democrats are, especially with their little antifas and their little ice out, fuck ice people. I know they're gonna try to stir something up in the summer. They always do. They love doing these type of things during the summer and during midterms, which I believe we have midterms coming up. I think we're in a shutdown, if I'm not mistaken. I think the government is on a partial shutdown. So that means our TSA workers are not getting paid. Parks and services are not getting paid. Air tower control operators are not getting paid. Okay. So you're telling me that they're fucked? Yes. You know, I want to see this report. Let me this will be probably the last video of the night. Because it's part of the avalanchers, the missing avalanchers. I want to see what's going on with, because that's a pretty big deal. So let me see. Okay, there's 2 of them. Okay, it's okay to see both of them. It's part of the. Let me set this up. So Tyson, you're not the last one of the night. Sorry, brother. I think this is a more important story to end off on. And we got to send some healing energy their way, because these individuals are still trapped under an avalanche that hit in Tahoe. Okay, here we go. All right, it takes me a few seconds to get stuff ready. Here we go. You seen the behind the scenes. I do everything live.
Back now to our coverage of this powerful winter storm that's hitting Northern California right now, and a major search is underway in the Sierra this afternoon for 10 backcountry skiers who are missing after an avalanche. This was reported around 11:30 this morning in the Castle Peak area near Truckee. The 911 call reported people buried. Authorities also are saying that 6 other backcountry skiers have been found alive after this avalanche. They were all part of an organized group.
Oh, wow.
Let's learn more and get the latest on this search. And to do that, we bring in Captain Russell Green.
So 6 were found.
County Sheriff's Office. Captain, thank you so much for the time. I know it's a very busy afternoon for you and your colleagues. We appreciate you taking a couple of minutes for us. So have search and rescue teams been able to reach the area where these skiers are believed to be buried?
They have not actually reached the avalanche site yet. They're in the process of doing so right now.
How long do you think it's going to take to get there, especially given the conditions we have right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing. We can't predict what they're going to run into out there. It's in a mountainous area. It's very limited visibility. It's hard to access. We're doing so with snowcats. With
They can
skis.
send no
We have some
helicopters
snowmobilers on standby, so we're doing the best we can to get there. But the conditions are making it very challenging.
Yeah, you can use helicopters.
What do you know about the nature of this avalanche and what happened to the members of this backcountry skiing group when the snow gave way here earlier today?
Since we haven't been able to reach the scene yet, the information we have has actually been very limited. We were notified by the company itself that was conducting the tour, and then we also received notification from some of the emergency beacons that individuals had with them, via a messaging app on those.
Do you have a sense of how large the avalanche was based on the reports?
No, they haven't provided any details on that yet.
Okay. And I know we also have heard that 6 members of this backcountry skiing group have been located alive. They have not been reached yet, it doesn't sound like.
Correct. We've been in contact, like I said, through a messaging app on some of the emergency beacons that they were equipped with. So we've been notified that 6 of them survived the initial avalanche, and that we're working our way in there now.
And what are you telling those skiers who are alive, but you're unable to get to them for however long?
They're doing the best they can. They've taken refuge in a retreat area. They had a tarp with them, so they're making do with what they have, and we're getting there as quickly as we can.
What happens when search and rescue teams do finally reach the site of this avalanche? And as you say, you have 10 people you believe may be buried by the snow. What is the focus at that point once teams get there?
Well, the focus will be to do an initial assessment on the 6 people that are still there and that are reporting that they're alive, to rescue and get them out of there as quickly as possible. And then we'll assess the avalanche site and determine the best way to continue the search and rescue operation at that point.
And is part of that assessment, Captain, trying to understand the stability of the hillside, the area where this all occurred, to make sure that you don't have the snow give way once again with rescuers at that scene?
Yeah, I mean, that's a concern going all the way in. That's why one of the reasons that it's so challenging to get in there is that the responders have to make sure they're not triggering any other avalanches as they go. So it's slow going, it's meticulous, and it's just being careful to make sure that we don't have another incident within the initial incident.
Yeah, that's so important. What kind of resources do you have involved in this search and rescue operation? I imagine you're getting help from some of your partners in that area.
Yeah, right now we have assistance from the Placer County Sheriff's Office, Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue Team, Washoe County Sheriff's Office, obviously our own resources. California Office of Emergency Services is also helping coordinate some additional resources. We're looking, to expand the equipment that we have on scene. It's just going to be slow going due to the conditions and where it's located.
Okay. Is there anything else you can tell us about what's going to happen here in the coming hours?
No, right now we're attempting to notify family members. We did get a roster of the individuals that are out there, so we're making those notifications as quickly as we can. And then we will, like I said, make contact with the survivors, get them rescued, and determine the best actions moving forward.
Okay. All right. Well, best of luck to you and your teams. We really appreciate you taking a couple minutes here to get us updated on this ongoing search for 10 backcountry skiers who are believed to be buried in an avalanche up in the Truckee area. That's Captain Russell Green with the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. Captain, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So scary. That's scary. Wow, 3 sneezes. Wow. I sneezed 3 times. That's so scary. All right, let's see this one here.
There's another breaking story out of the Tahoe area as well. We're learning about a man from the peninsula who has died in a skiing accident. Placer County Sheriff's Office says 53-year-old Stuart McLaughlin from Hillsborough was killed in a 2-person crash. This was on the Advanced Polaris Trail on Sunday. The ski patrol and the fire department both responded, but McLaughlin was pronounced dead at the scene. And the second person, who has not been officially identified, was transported to the Tahoe Forest Hospital in Truckee. Conditions in the Sierra are treacherous. Take a look at this right now. This is Highway 89.
hell?
This is from a Caltrans camera, and it shows the whiteout conditions. If you can see this on Interstate 80, this actually is not far from where this avalanche happened. Now, on the right side of the screen, you can see this is the video that's posted to social media by the CHP.
They can't move.
This is actually the same area, but a ground shot. So you can see all that snow swirling, and you can see visibility very hard.
Yeah.
Conditions in the Sierra
Can't
actually
see
being
shit.
the worst in 3 years. Here in the Bay Area, we have been absolutely drenched. Most of us woke up to the downpour, and really it hasn't stopped. If we take a look live now at the Richmond
It has a
Plaza,
lot of
you can see
moisture.
wet roads, headlights are on, people taking it slow. The commute this morning was rough. We're just now getting into the evening commute. The North Bay also getting more than its fair share. This is what it looked like earlier in San Rafael, and you can see puddling, the rain just really piling up out there. And if rain wasn't enough, we're going to give you a look at Berkeley, where they didn't just get rain, they also got hail to add to all of this. And as we know, days like this make a mess. So we want to show you some video posted by SFPD. There's a big down tree. This is actually at Potrero and Alameda Street. It blocked that roadway. It has been slow and go for so many folks today. So we have team coverage for all of it for you tonight. Aaron Dickens is in the North
And the
Bay, where
mudslides.
one school
They're gonna
actually
be
had to cancel classes.
mudslides.
Christian Captain is in the city, where there have been a bunch of down trees. And Jesse Gary is in the Santa Cruz Mountain, where it's been a bit of a struggle to keep the lights on there. But let's begin with KTVU meteorologist Rosemary Roscoe with a look at really what's happening now and what's ahead, Rosemary.
Just a wild day weather-wise, Claudine. The scattered showers will be winding down a little bit later this evening, but all said and done, we are looking at quite a bit of rainfall, snow in our hills, and as you mentioned, those thunderstorms that roared ashore earlier today. Here's a live look over Oakland, where the rain is still falling on the afternoon commute. This is a 12-hour time lapse dating all the way back to about 5
Look at
a.m.
that.
Notice the lightning strikes
A lot
that
of
first start in
rain.
the North Bay early on and just march right across the bay
Wow.
during the morning commute, finally tapering off early afternoon today.
Yo,
According to the National
California,
Weather Service,
y'all in for a big
500 lightning
earthquake
strikes or
this
so
year.
recorded with that round.
That's a lot of
as the
weight.
front move through, we continue now with the scattered showers.
That's a lot of weight.
And snow
Okay.
levels are dropping, with snow reported in our Santa Clara Hills, as well as a rain-snow mix over the Santa Cruz Mountains. This is going to continue because the cold air is going to
Wow,
stick
look at the
around,
snow
and the
up
scattered
in the
showers
mountains.
sticking around as well. As we head into the Sierra, we've got the snow that is piling up, with several feet of snow expected, all said and done. And the winter storm warning now for the West Slope extended until Thursday evening. Originally, it
Wow.
was Wednesday night, now an extra day. Meanwhile, for us here at home, winter storm warning over the Lake County area will go until tomorrow afternoon. And for our Santa Clara Hills, we also have an advisory here that will last until tomorrow afternoon. We
Wow.
have showers expected for tomorrow morning. In addition to
Yeah, in the
that,
mountains.
we are
They
looking
get
at
snow. They get a
cold
lot of snow.
temperatures for our inland cities. Here's a look at the timing of what we can
Especially
expect
if it's like
between
a
now and
really
tomorrow
good low
morning.
pressure
There's a
system
look
coming
at
from
the
the Pacific.
afternoon and going through the evening hours. The
Look
scattered
at
showers
this.
continue and will continue into tomorrow morning, with advisories for cold weather expected for our North Bay area, as well as the
Wow.
Santa Clara Valley, as well as the Santa Cruz Mountains. Temperatures are
Yeah,
expected
it's
to dip
coming
near
in cold.
freezing. Extreme cold, more warning for areas over the Santa Clara Hills. A better look at what we can expect for tomorrow, as well as the rest of the week, coming up in just a bit, Claudia.
All right, so much to watch, Rosemary. All right, let's go to the North Bay. There were 2 lightning strikes within just miles of each other this morning in Santa Rosa. One actually split a massive tree at a preschool, and that forced officials to cancel classes. KTVU's Aaron Dickens live at that school tonight. And Aaron, tell us what's happening there.
Claudine, I've been covering stories for more than 2 decades now. I've
That's
never
crazy.
heard a story like this. That's not one, but 2 lightning strikes
What?
coming at about the same time in the same neighborhood at 2 separate locations. And this location, we're at a preschool. There's a lot of action behind me. They are still taking this massive tree, this over
Oh
100
my
foot tall
goodness.
tree apart. We are at Woodside West Preschool. And the other lightning strike was at a utility pole right near Helen Lehman Elementary School, about 2 miles from here. And here at
Wow.
the preschool, the cleanup has now been going on for 8 hours.
Wow.
Hey, man, that's boom! That's what Kyle Capel said.
Yeah, I
He
believe
heard
you.
Tuesday morning. And this
Holy
is what he
smokes.
saw. What was left of a
Look at
massive
that.
redwood tree after it was struck by lightning.
I've seen the tree
Wow.
partially on the preschool here.
Chief Lowenthal says just after 5 a.m., there were a number of lightning strikes in Santa Rosa. No one was at the preschool at the time. It was closed for the day. There was damage to the roof and windows.
Looks like it did
Wow.
take a direct strike. I mean, it literally looks like the tree exploded. The tree damaged the building that houses the school itself, and then damaged a number of fences.
A tree removal company spent all day removing the redwood.
Wow.
It looks like the tree exploded, like it really fragmented apart.
Wow.
It's pretty big, and so they're pretty lucky the house didn't get smashed.
Another school was shut down because of a lightning strike nearby. It was an elementary school. Officials say a power pole outside of the school was struck. This school was
Wow.
also closed for the day.
Yo, that
Let's
storm
take a
is
live
really
look at
energized.
The trunk there, I'm told. Oh, he's measuring it right now.
Wow,
It is
look how
between
big.
4 and 5 feet. That is a big tree. But luckily, the preschool says it's actually going to reopen tomorrow because the building behind it, that's another part of the school, and that didn't have any damage. So kids will be back in school tomorrow. In Santa Rosa, Aaron Dickens, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, certainly good news for the kids, and you're right. Big tree out there, but looks like they're getting that work done quickly. All right, thanks, Aaron. Well, sustain.
That's a good thing, you know, that they jump on it to clean it up. I mean, they have companies that they chop wood all the time, so I'm pretty sure they were easy contact. But the energy coming in like that to Southern California, and that energy is coming across the United States. And I feel for the people that live in the central, like Oklahoma, Texas again. Like we're all screwed with probably tornadic weather. This system's really juiced and it's very strong. And it's behaving a little freakish. So this may be a storm that people need to really pay attention to. This week, we're talking about like starting like today, tomorrow until next week, until like the 23rd, 24th, maybe more, because these systems are going to go like back to back to back to back. And it's going to like train. And like for here, I think we're supposed to get like a certain amount. Let me see what they're saying here. How many inches we're going to be getting. We got a dense fog warning. That's another thing. The fog today started very early today, like around 3 o'clock. Like everything was like turning white and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I've never seen something like this. What the fuck is this? Like it was so foggy, and now they put a dense fog advisory for tonight until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. for visibility is only going to be 1/4 mile or less in dense fog. This is going to be happening here, Southern Connecticut, Northeast New Jersey, and Southeast New York. And this is going to happen between 10 p.m. tonight, which should be starting now, until 10 in the morning. Impacts, low visibility, can make driving conditions very hazardous. So take very precautionary. Don't be rushing. If you got to get there early, then wake your ass up early to get to work. Don't be putting people in danger and because you're running late. Train of Truth is here. And it says here, if driving, slow down, use your headlights, and leave plenty of distance ahead of you. That's coming from the dense fog advisory. That's out of here, Connecticut. So they don't know what we're getting because the numbers are all over the place. We don't know if we're gonna get rain or snow. We don't know if we're gonna get rain or snow. Like tomorrow, I'm feeling rain because my body's really hurting. So my body's telling me rain, and like Friday is gonna be like rain and snow and like a mix. Like Saturday is gonna be like a little drizzles, like a snow, and then Sunday we're gonna get like 4 to 6 inches of snow. On Sunday, 4 to 6 inches of snow, and then Monday, 2 to 3. So, and then there's another storm for the 25th and the 26th. They're already showing like 1 to 3 inches. So, but I'm feeling the rain part. Like my body hurts, my neck hurts, my back hurts, my knee hurts, everything just fucking hurts. It's like, damn, man, you're getting old. I'm like, I know, fuck. I'm turning into a fucking old fucking fart. Like, nah. Just getting wiser, getting older. Nah, but you're a fucking old piece of shit, too. No, we're all getting old. That's the thing. We are all getting old. And a lot of us are trapped in the matrix. Because this is the matrix. This is the real life matrix. You know? They're always watching you. They're always listening to you. It's like you have the freedom of speech to a certain degree. Because everything and anything can be held against you in a court of law. But that's why they're going to implement AI. They're going to put AI to police all social medias to flag individuals. Because you see, like the reason why I say that and why I'm feeling that is because like everything is going on, right? We had another like the trans shooter. We had a trans shooter that killed his ex-wife and his child, if I'm not mistaken, one of his childs. He killed them. And then he ended up killing himself. But then, like, that story is so crazy because, like, he really went trans. He went so far left. He went too far to the left side. He went to retardation side. He went to like the far left where the retardation is. That's the side he went to, and he wanted to be a woman after having kids with his wife, and I think it was like 2 or 3 kids they had together, and then ends up killing the ex-wife and his child. You know, that's really fucked up. And then he kills himself. Like, dude. And then from what I heard, I think he did the surgery. I don't know if he did the bottom surgery. That's fucking creepy. It just is because like you start thinking about it, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, could it be like Like, people don't understand, like, trans people should be holding onto weapons. Because if they cannot control and they have mental issues, and they're claiming the mental issues, they shouldn't be having guns in the first place. But, like, chopping your thing off, chopping your thing off, and then thinking that you have and pretending that you have a vajayjay, no. That's and then, with the medications they're giving this guy, they're giving him a lot of medications, and he's doing like this crazy shit. Like, let me see if there's anything on it. I want to see let me see something. Yeah, the train of truth. It's telling me to go to bed. I'm almost time. I just want to see this last. See if they have anything on what happened. I think this is it. Okay. Let me set it up. This will definitely be the last video for the night. I'm getting tired. But I hope everyone had a good night. Okay, let's size this up. All right. This is the true last video of the night. Here we go. Oh, come on. Hold on. It's YouTube. YouTube always I hate their new setup, man. I really don't like it.
Now at 6, our coverage continues of the tragic hockey game shooting in Pawtucket. I'm Shannon Heggie.
I'm Mike Montecalvo. Tonight, we know the names of the mother and son who were killed at a news conference a short time ago. Pawtucket's police chief identified them as Aiden Dorgan and Rhonda Dorgan. Family members shared their names with us earlier today.
The chief says Aiden's father and Rhonda's ex-spouse, Robert Dorgan, shot them, Rhonda's parents, and a family friend. The chief also revealed that at least 3 other people at the game subdued Dorgan, at which point he pulled out a second gun and shot himself. The parents and family friend remain in critical condition at Rhode Island Hospital.
Shayna Loshuda was at the news conference earlier and begins our team coverage tonight in Pawtucket.
Well, this was a big question. Were there any signs? Family members of the suspect tell police they had no indication something like this was about to play out. It wasn't out of the norm for that suspect to be at hockey games. So when they showed up, that was not a red flag. And they were all there trying to enjoy a senior night. Now, police emphasize this was a very targeted incident. This person went in there knowing who they wanted to hurt. We also have confirmed the shooter had 2 firearms.
I can tell you that individuals on site, several bystanders, I would say that probably whether they had been family or friends of the individuals playing hockey stepped in, they intervened, and at least 3 bystanders were able to circum the suspect. At that time, the suspect did reach for a second firearm, and he did inflict a self-inflicted gunshot wound, which is what he succumbed to on scene.
And tonight we are back live here at the ice rink, where we are starting to see some flowers here being dropped off. Also, a hockey stick is behind me right now, a symbol of healing together as a community. Today, we witnessed the teams coming back here to pick up the belongings, the equipment that they rushed to leave behind yesterday as all of this chaos was panning out. We North Providence High School student today who is really close with a hockey player whose family is involved here. That student was not at the game. His focus is to help his friend.
Don't know who he is, but I have a few words for that guy.
You were very, very brave, and I think everybody appreciates that because even my family was talking about it. You have some serious guts to do that, and I think he stopped a good amount of violence that could have occurred after. So I think everybody appreciates him.
Yeah, that student tells us a lot of this just doesn't feel real, and they just feel so much for that family impacted, especially their friend who was playing out on the ice. Police tell us right now they're executing search warrants in other states, hoping to get to the bottom of this investigation. They continue talking to people who were at that game, and they still hope to reach those 3 patients who remain in critical condition. Reporting live in Pawtucket tonight, I'm Sheena Loshuto, 12 News.
Okay, well, thank you, Sheeta. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm tired. Freaking trans shooter goes in there like fucking batshit crazy with 2 weapons. 2 weapons. This dude went in. I'm sorry, it's a dude. It's a dude with a fucking wig and chopped off pieces. Like, he doesn't have a, like, I don't know. It's a dude still. Like, you didn't see his pictures? His pictures, like, I was like, what the fuck is that dude doing? Like, motherfucker, like, so muscular and shit. Like, come on, man. Like, what's going on here? I think when people get to that point in their lives, they need to be evaluated, like, mentally. They got to make sure they're okay in the head, because there's a lot of them that are just going fucking crazy, and it's all coming from the fucking left. It's just the weirdest shit. It's just, I don't get it. It's like, I don't know. Is it the dye that they put in their hair that's causing them to go crazy or something? Maybe it's too much liberal media entertain that brain to go insane. I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. But I gotta let you guys go because I ain't gonna go to bed. I got early start tomorrow. The MRI is gonna be a bitch. I already know because I got to put my leg in a kind of like a case type of thing, and then they got to do the fucking MRI shit. I'm like, it's not my first rodeo, but I gotta take care of it because if I do it, at least I can start recuperating now. So maybe I could enjoy maybe the ending of summer. I can enjoy like towards the end of summer. Maybe I'll be recuperated enough to enjoy the end of the summer and going right back to fall and winter. I'm still gonna enjoy my summer, but it's just not gonna be the same, because I'm gonna be injured. So I'm really trying to figure shit out. I really want to enjoy my damn summer. It's like we suffer here during the fucking winter, and then it's summertime, and that's the time that's like, fuck yes, it's like it feels nice, and it's nice to be out, and and we only get it for a few months, because then we'll go right back to the motherfucking fall, and then fall's kind of nice some days, but then there's like, it starts getting cold, especially like around Halloween. I said Christmas. It's kind of like Christmas, like Halloween. It's like, yeah. What was it? The I forgot that cartoon movie. It's Nightmare or something. The Tim Burton one. I forgot the name of the damn movie. My sister used to love that movie. The little stick figure guy. I forgot the name of the damn fucking movie. But we'll see what happens, because I got so much things I'm thinking about. I'm just like, my mind is just going 1,000 miles per hour, because it's like, if I do the surgery, I have to, because I know this knee is already, my therapist, my physical therapist, she tells me she worked on my knee, and she was like, yeah, Rick, I could even feel it. I was like, and this my physical therapist, she's really fucking good. Like, she knows like what I'm going through, and she sees it, and she experienced it too, because she had a broken neck from an accident, but hers wasn't as fucked up as mine. You know, so I think she had a 1 level fusion. I have a 2 level fusion, so it's like it's kind of the same, but I'm happy for her because she's able to do physically, like doing the work, the physical therapy stuff. But she was telling me, man, my knee is not good. She was like, she was feeling it, and she was like, yeah, this is you're in the last tread of this tire. I go, I know. That's always been telling people. It's like I'm on my last tread. I don't know when this tire is gonna pop, but it's about to pop, and I don't want it to pop because then that's a even more surgery. That's like a deeper surgery. But if they could go in there and scope it out and repair whatever needs to be repaired within the meniscus and stuff like that, just go for it. And then when I wake up, I know I'm gonna be in fucking pain. So they're definitely gonna hit me up with some Dilaudid. That's the preferable choice when you're in the hospital. They're gonna hit you with that medicine, and then it kills the pain. It does, and then I gotta pick up pain medication from the damn pharmacy. So I want to try to get that before I have the surgery. I want to, if I do have the surgery and stuff, I'm gonna ask for the prescription to get the medication already, to have the medication at least a day or two before the surgery, and that way I don't have to fucking be going to no fucking Walgreens right after I have fucking surgery just to pick up fucking pain pills. That's stupid. You gotta do it beforehand, so that way you don't have to be waiting for no fucking medicine. You already have the shit at home. You just want to go straight home, lay down, take a medicine, and go to sleep. Because after surgery, you tend to be more sleepier. I got enough pillows to keep me comfortable, to elevate my leg and stuff like that. I have to fall asleep with my leg like elevated. So I do have a Tempur-Pedic Posturepedic bed. So the bed does go up on the legs. So it does rise up. So I could use that to keep my legs up, and then the bottom part I just keep it down. I can make myself into a taco, but I'm not doing the taco. I'm doing the legs up and lay out. So that way I keep my leg up. And of course I'll put pillows underneath for support and stuff like that. And the only problem I have, I already know this is going to be a bitch, and I know I'm going to scream already, is when my cat comes across like my bed and she's going to go right to my leg. I already know she's going to step on it to get over to the other side. It's not her fault. I'm going to definitely put a pillow over my knee, so that way what she does comes over, she's not like putting that pressure pain as much. At least the pillow would have some impact. Because I already know my cat. My cat's she always puts me to sleep at night. That's one thing. She's very independent, but she likes her rubbies. She loves her rubbies, especially her back like side. She loves it. Her skull, her head, her ears, under her chinny chin chin. I always call it the chinny chin chin. And cats are magical. I love cats. I always loved cats since I was little. And I made my mom go back from the bus because we're supposed to take the bus, right? And the bus had gotten like there, and then I was like crying, and my mom was like, "You're not gonna let it up, huh?" And I said, "Nope." And she went back with me to the house, grabbed a bowl, filled it with milk, and put it outside for the cat. And then I was satisfied. And she closed the door. She's like, "You see, we fed the cat." I was like, "Okay, we could go." Not knowing now that that's not actually safe for cats. Not knowing now that, you're not supposed to give whole milk to cats. But hey, it's better than nothing. Fucking cats. But at least I made my mom go back to do that. I was really young too. That was probably before. That was like around. I think my sister was not even born yet. I think I was like wow, like almost like 2 years old. Like I was like 2.5, like 1.5, a little bit more. Yeah, it was scary walking into the bus, like to take the bus, because back then that's all we did. We took the bus. My mom took the bus. My mom was a young jit, so going up those stairs were like mountains to me. So my mom will pick me up, and sometimes the driver would come up and grab me and pull me up. he would give me a hand. He's like, "Let me come over here," and he's like, real quick. But yeah, I remember those days and pulling on the string, because they have the string and then they have the buttons on the side. So it's like a long button, and you press it, it'll activate the stop. So the driver will stop at the next stop. So it was pretty. My childhood was pretty unique for sure. Maybe I'll do a show talking about it. But definitely look out for the Pokemon. I'm definitely gonna be celebrating on the 27th. February 27th is the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. So definitely be opening up probably an Ascending Heroes pack. And probably do a couple of openings for that day. And I'll post it up on my shorts, so you guys can go and watch it there. I tend to do about 2 to 3 minute little short videos, so you guys can go and watch. I don't even talk. I talk enough on this show. I don't talk on the shorts. I let the cards speak for themselves. And if I pull something good, then they tend to get little videos at the end of the even the hologram, the reverse holos. I give them a little video, like an outro I started doing through AI to give them their proper they weren't a hit, but there was something. And when I do get a hit, they get like multiple like videos, or even like 3 videos. Like it's a rare thing to get a real good hit pulling these cards. And I'm not even doing it for me. It's not for me. I mean, it's nice I'm pulling these cards and stuff, but I know it's not for me. So it's like it's for my niece, and when she gets to get them, and that's like freaking 13, 14 years from now. When she turns 18, so that's 13 years from now, because she's gonna turn 5 in May. So like 13 years. That's when the countdown starts. The 13 mark is when she turns 5. She starts kindergarten. That's the beginning. 13 years of schooling until you get your graduation and get your diploma, and then go to high school. Like after high school, go to university, whichever university. Depends on her smartness and how she does. I think she's gonna do real good. I think she's gonna do really good. I can see her being like like a nurse slash like doctor at some point, but I see her more like a nurse. You know, I could see her like good under pressure. So that'd be nice to see her as a nurse. That'd be a nice thing. She could be my nurse. I'll be old. Shit, 13 years from now? Holy shit. I'll be fucking old. What is that? I'll be 59? Almost 60? I'll be 59. 13 years from now. When she graduates from high school. 59. What the fuck? I'll be old fart. I'm be an old fart. All right, this old fart is going to bed. So it's already 11 o'clock. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. So have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll be back on here tomorrow, hopefully with a story of what happened to me at the MRI. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. So until then, good night. Peace.